This audiobook contains sacred knowledge once buried beneath the sands of ancient Egypt and hidden within the scrolls of Greek sages. Guarded for centuries, this wisdom was whispered only to the chosen until now. What you hold here is not merely a technique, but the lost art of dream alchemy, the divine act of becoming while you sleep. As you surrender to it, reality begins to shift. Not tomorrow, but now, in the silence of your dreams. Introduction: The Alchemy of the Dreamer. They told you success comes from waking early, from working harder, from chasing your dreams across a calendar of years. They never told you your most powerful hours begin the moment your eyes close. They never told you that the space between waking and sleep is where the real world is written. They never told you that the dreamer is the true creator. And yet, you have always felt it. That strange pull just before sleep. That silent place where thoughts dissolve and something deeper emerges. A knowing, a signal, a doorway. That's the place we're returning to now. Because in that state just before sleep, the gate to the subconscious swings wide open. And what you plant there grows. Not with force, not with time, but with perfect mathematical obedience. Your subconscious does not question. It does not argue. It receives. It records. It obeys. And most of all, it creates. Every pattern in your life was first written in sleep. Every fear, every limitation, every cycle of lack. But so too can you write wealth. So too can you write love. So too can you write freedom, expansion, magnetism, and infinite abundance. This is not fantasy. This is dream alchemy, the science of aligning your frequency with the formless field of infinite possibility during the hours the world forgets to pay attention. You do not need to hustle while awake. You only need to program your being while you rest. Because the truth is, you don't manifest with effort. You manifest with identity. And identity is shaped in your subconscious. And your subconscious is most open when you sleep. This is why the ancient mystics practiced night rituals. Why the wise ones understood that the last thought before sleep becomes tomorrow's reality. Why the yogis meditated into the edge of unconsciousness to meet the Creator within. You're not here to force your way into abundance. You're here to remember how to receive it as your most natural state. You're not here to chase love. You're here to embody the vibration of love so completely that even in your sleep, the universe bends to deliver it. And it will. Because while the mind sleeps, the soul speaks. And when the soul speaks, reality listens. So this is not a bedtime story. This is a ritual. This is a book to be listened to again and again. At night, in stillness, when your conscious defenses dissolve. When the gates are open. When the veil is thin, every chapter a key. Every word a seed. Every breath a rewrite of your inner script. You'll drift off, but you won't fall asleep into forgetfulness. You'll rise into the dream state awake, lucid, aligned, commanding. And from that place, you will not beg reality. You will shape it. This is the art of the dream alchemist. And now, it is your art. Tonight, you begin again. Tonight, you remember what you've always known. The real world is shaped in sleep. And the dreamer rules it all. Chapter 1: The Portal Between Worlds. There is a moment so brief, so subtle, that most never notice it. A space between waking and sleeping, between thought and surrender, between identity and expansion. It is neither night nor day, neither mind nor dream. It is a portal, a sacred doorway the mystics knew, the sages revered, the awakened slipped through like smoke into a realm untouched by time. You pass through it every night, but tonight you will walk through it awake. Close your eyes not to escape the world, but to see it clearly. Let the noise begin to fall away. The thoughts slow, the body soften. Can you feel it? The in-between? That gentle shimmer in the silence where reality becomes fluid? That's where we begin. Because the first key to dream alchemy is not in what you say, it's in what you allow. The gateway opens not through force, but through stillness, through presence, through conscious release. Most people go to sleep in exhaustion. They carry the weight of the day into their pillow. The unresolved thoughts, the guilt, the mental checklists of all that still needs to be done. And so, they bring chaos into the most sacred space of all the subconscious realm. But the dream alchemist prepares the inner temple. You do not fall asleep to escape. You fall asleep to create. You step into your dream state not as a victim of unconscious momentum, but as a creator walking into their workshop, a sacred space of design, of programming, of divine remembrance. And it begins, always, with awareness. The portal between worlds is more than a metaphor. It is a literal shift in brainwave states, from beta to alpha to theta. And in theta, the subconscious is wide open. The veil thins. The field becomes pliable. And every thought, every emotion, every assumption becomes law. Not tomorrow, not next week, instantly within the realm of energy. And what is written there becomes what is experienced here. So what have you been bringing into that portal? Regret? Worry? Fear of not having enough? Loneliness? Have you been laying your head on the pillow each night with a mind rehearsing lack? With an energy locked in survival? That ends now. Because tonight, you begin walking through the portal as an architect, not a refugee. A master of frequency. A sculptor of the unseen. And it starts with the most essential decision of all. What energy will I carry into the dream? Let that question echo in your body. What energy will you take with you into the sacred garden where reality is planted? Will you take peace? Will you take gratitude? Will you take the vibration of, it is already done? That's the alchemy. You're not here to solve your life before bed. You're here to tune your frequency to the reality you choose so that the dream can carry it deeper than the conscious mind ever could. You see, sleep is not the absence of activity. It is the amplification of what you believe when you're no longer watching yourself believe it. And the subconscious, your sleeping mind, is the engine of your reality. It's not trying to hurt you. It's not broken. It's simply obedient. It listens to your most repeated thoughts, your most felt emotions, your most frequent assumptions. It's always asking one question: what version of life do you want me to create? And it answers by shaping every atom of your world. So, if you spend your days rehearsing powerlessness and your nights marinating in fear, it creates more to be afraid of. But if you spend your nights deliberately, if you enter sleep like a portal, if you bring with you the frequency of already having, it begins rewriting your internal code. Not slowly, not someday. Now, because the portal you're walking through tonight is sacred. It's not just a shift in states, it's a shift in realities. You are stepping into the garden of the subconscious, and in that garden your words are seeds, your emotions are water, your vision is sunlight, and the dream becomes the soil that nourishes it all. So tonight we enter deliberately. Let your body relax now. Feel the breath deepen, the muscles soften, the day begin to melt. You are not falling asleep. You are rising into alignment. Your bed is now your temple. Your breath is your prayer. Your stillness is your surrender. And your dreams, your divine command. Let the last thoughts you hold be of truth. Let them vibrate with the knowing that what you desire already exists. Let your last emotion before sleep be one of fullness, of abundance, of soft joy that doesn't ask for anything more because it already has. Feel yourself walking through the portal now. The edges of thought blur. The world fades. The veil lifts. And in this sacred place between waking and dream, the universe listens. It hears your stillness. It hears your certainty. And it says, yes. Yes to the abundance you feel. Yes to the love you already are. Yes to the freedom that lives in your breath. The dream obeys the dreamer. And you, dear alchemist, are awake. Even as you sleep. Chapter 2. Programming the subconscious. Writing reality while you rest. They told you your mind stops at night. That sleep is a pause, a break, a blank canvas. But they were wrong. Your conscious mind may drift into silence, but your subconscious never sleeps. It listens. It processes. It records. And more than anything else, it creates. You don't stop creating when you sleep. You just create from a deeper layer. And that layer, your subconscious, is not just a part of you, it is you, the real you, the quiet you, the automatic you, the version of yourself that chooses without thinking, reacts without trying, and manifests without effort. It is the sum total of everything you believe, not what you say you believe, but what you really believe, deep beneath the surface. It's the programs you downloaded as a child. It's the stories you inherited from your family, your environment, your culture. It's the emotional blueprints etched into your nervous system by repetition, habit, and trauma. And until you reprogram it, it will keep creating the same life. No matter how much you journal, no matter how many affirmations you say, no matter how much effort you put in during the day, your life will always be shaped by the programs running silently at night. So, if you want to change your world, you must start with the world within. You must enter the subconscious and rewrite the code. This is Dream Alchemy. Because sleep isn't a void, it's a channel, a direct line to your inner operating system. And in the minutes before you drift off, the gate to that system swings wide open. The brain shifts into theta, the slow, deep frequency of dream logic, inner imagery, and emotional truth. And in theta, the conscious mind relaxes and the subconscious listens. Unfiltered, unquestioning, unprotected, and whatever it hears, it believes. That's why your last thoughts before sleep are so important. They're not just personal. They're not just poetic. They're programming commands. Orders sent to the system that creates your next reality. So what are you telling it? That money is hard? That love never lasts? That you're behind, late, not enough? What images are you feeding it? Stress? Overwhelm? Regret? Because the subconscious doesn't judge. It doesn't edit. It just takes the script and runs it. But now you know. Now you're aware. Now you are no longer asleep to the process. Now you get to take back the pen. So before you sleep tonight, speak to your subconscious. Not like a child, not like a pet, but like a powerful ally that has simply been misdirected. Tell it where you're going. Tell it what you want. Tell it who you are. And don't just say it, feel it. Because the subconscious doesn't respond to words. It responds to emotion, to frequency, to repetition and vibration. This is why affirmations fail for so many. They say the words, but feel the opposite. They affirm wealth while vibrating lack. They speak love while embodying fear. They declare confidence while anchored in insecurity. And the subconscious listens to the vibration, not the sentence. So tonight, we do it differently. We don't just say new words. We become new energy. We don't tell the subconscious what we want. We show it what we already are. You see, the subconscious speaks in pictures, in symbolism, in emotional experiences. That's why dreams feel real. That's why nightmares activate the body. That's why a single image in sleep can change your entire state when you wake up. So, instead of telling your subconscious what you want, show it. Feel the version of you who already lives the dream. Feel the bank account overflowing. Feel the love holding you gently. Feel the body vibrant, healthy, alive. Feel the joy of purpose, the calm of peace, the soft exhale of "it's already done," and hold that vibration as you fall asleep. Not with effort, not with pressure, just with quiet conviction. Because when you program your subconscious in this way, reality follows. Not because you forced it, but because you aligned with it. You must understand, the subconscious is the projector. Life is the screen. Change the film within, and the movie of your life changes instantly. So here is your practice. Each night before sleep, take 3 deep breaths. With each exhale, release the day. Let go of roles. Let go of effort. Let go of doubt. And then, gently begin to feel the energy of your desired reality. Not as something you want, but something you already are. Speak softly, internally. I am abundant. I am supported. I am deeply loved. I am whole. I am safe to receive. And don't just say it, feel it as if your body is already experiencing it. Then, as the portal opens, as the line to your subconscious comes online, let those feelings carry you into sleep. Let them become your final message. Let them be the command that shapes your dreams and therefore your reality. You don't have to get it perfect. You don't have to try too hard. You just have to be deliberate. Because the subconscious will create something tonight, whether you choose it or not. So why not choose? Why not plant something beautiful? Why not rewrite the story? Why not fall asleep in the vibration of yes and wake up in a world that agrees? You are not here to beg your subconscious. You are here to reclaim it, to lead it, to love it back into alignment. And as you do, the outer world will shift. The patterns will break. The loops will dissolve. And a new life, one born from your own inner truth, will begin to unfold. Tonight, you don't just fall asleep. You begin programming your power. And the subconscious listens. Chapter 3. The night is your mirror. The world tells you that the day is for creating. That morning brings motivation. That action is what shapes reality. But few understand the night is where everything begins. It is not a pause between chapters. It is the author's pen, the dark canvas upon which your soul paints what the light will later reveal. The night is not silent. It is singing back to you everything you've ever believed, and it shows up as your life. You see, while the body rests, the deeper intelligence within you awakens. The thoughts that you ignore in daylight grow louder in the dark. The patterns you suppress in your busyness emerge when there is nothing left to distract you. This is why so many feel haunted by their own mind at bedtime. The room grows quiet, but their energy grows loud. Restless, full. A mirror they didn't ask to see. A reflection they didn't know they were carrying. But what if you looked deeper? What if, Instead of resisting the mirror of night, you learn to look into it. Because the night doesn't lie. It doesn't sugarcoat. It doesn't pretend. It simply reveals you, the real you, the one beneath the masks, the achievements, the spiritual affirmations, and surface-level positivity. The night shows you what you really believe, and in doing so, it offers the rarest gift, the chance to shift it. Because what is seen can be healed. What is faced can be rewritten. What is acknowledged in the dark becomes light. This is the third key of Dream Alchemy. The willingness to witness yourself, not as a critic, not as a judge, but as a conscious creator who understands that awareness is power. So tonight, when the lights are low and the distractions have fallen away, ask yourself, what has my night been mirroring back to me? Have I been falling asleep in resistance, tensing against my own thoughts? Have I been rehearsing what went wrong, reliving moments of tension? Have I been bracing for another restless night, another anxious morning? Because the answer you give is the vibration your dreams will carry. And your dreams are not passive. They are not fantasy. They are instructional blueprints for your waking life. The subconscious does not distinguish between dream and reality. It simply says, this must be truth, and proceeds to create it. This is why your nightly state matters more than your morning routine. Because your first thoughts are echoes of your last ones. Your energy does not reset with the sunrise, it amplifies what you encoded the night before. And so the night is your mirror. And more than that, it is your projection screen. It is where you rehearse the reality you will soon live in. So, take a breath now, deep, soft, deliberate, and ask, what do I want the night to reflect? Not just in dreams, but in frequency, in feeling, in truth. Can you walk into the mirror of night and see not just your shadows, but your power? Can you allow the stillness to show you your old programming and then release it? Can you see yourself clearly and love yourself completely? Because that is where the alchemy begins. There is a practice, ancient, quiet, powerful. Before you sleep, sit for one moment and simply observe. What emotions am I carrying into the night? What assumptions about myself, my life, my worth, are still looping within me? Then, without trying to fix them, just see them. Witness them like you would a child who has been lost and afraid. Without judgment, without punishment. Just pure, conscious love. And then, choose what you'd rather bring in instead. Peace, safety, receiving, power, fulfillment. Hold that vibration gently, not because you're trying to manifest something, but because you're ready to create a new reflection. Because once you realize that the night is your mirror, you no longer go to sleep hoping to escape life. You go to sleep ready to redesign it. And you can, right now, without needing to change your schedule, without needing to perfect your thoughts, just by choosing to fall asleep in a new frequency. What is the frequency of already having? What is the vibration of I am already enough? What does your breath feel like when you are fully aligned, fully relaxed, fully at peace? Feel that now. Let it ripple through your body. Let it settle into your bones. Let it replace the armor you've worn all day. You don't need to prove anything here. You don't need to fix yourself tonight. You only need to see yourself. Fully. Honestly. Gently. And then let the night carry that self forward. Because when you align with your wholeness before sleep, you awaken into a world that reflects it back. This is not theory. This is spiritual law. You are always communicating with the mirror, with the night, with your dreams, with the field, The question is, what do you want to send? Tonight, send love, send peace. Send the vibration of your future self, fully integrated, already complete, radiating ease. And the mirror will not only reflect it, it will become it, because that's what the night does. It becomes whatever you believe in the dark. So believe something new. Believe something beautiful. Believe something worthy of you. And let the night mirror it back tenfold. Chapter 4. Entering the dream as the creator, not the seeker. There comes a moment on every soul's journey when they realize they have been doing it backwards, chasing dreams instead of becoming the dreamer, pleading for change rather than embodying the force that makes change inevitable. Most walk into sleep the same way they walk through life, hoping, wishing, reaching, but tonight that ends. Tonight, you step across the threshold with a different posture, not as a seeker, but as a creator. This is not metaphor. This is not motivation. This is reality, spiritual, energetic, and biological. Because when you shift your identity, you shift everything. Not slowly, not eventually. Instantly. The dreamer is not separate from the dream. They are the same force, vibrating in alignment, creating experience moment by moment. So ask yourself now, before sleep takes you, who am I being? Not what am I doing? Not what am I hoping? But who am I being? The person who is still asking, still waiting, still trying to convince the universe to notice them? Or the version of you that already knows I am the source, I am the cause, I am the current that moves the field? Because the truth is, when you sleep in identity, not in longing, the field listens differently. It hears resonance, not requests. It follows alignment, not effort. And what you vibrate becomes what you experience. Every time, you don't manifest what you want in your sleep. You manifest what you are as you fall asleep. So let us now go deeper, beyond thought, beyond mental affirmations. Let us slip beneath the mind and into the state of being. Feel it now, the version of you who is already complete. The version who no longer has to try so hard. The version who has released the grip of needing, proving, waiting. That version of you is not a fantasy, it is a frequency, a timeline already pulsing in the quantum field, waiting for one thing only, your selection. Not through effort, but through embodiment. You must now become what you once chased. You must carry the energy of arrival, not as pretending, but as presence. You are not the beggar at the gates of abundance. You are the architect of the gate itself. And the moment you accept that, the gate dissolves, because when you fall asleep as the version of you who already lives the dream, the subconscious takes that signal and begins building reality around it. It does not question, it does not delay. It simply says, yes, this is who we are now, and your life will rearrange to match it. This is the alchemy. This is the dream. This is the law. So tonight, before you drift off, breathe with the rhythm of already. Let your body soften into the timeline you used to seek. Let the tension of pursuit melt into the stillness of fulfillment. Can you feel it? That quiet confidence that asks for nothing, because it knows everything is already here? That is the creative state. That is the God state. That is the frequency that reprograms not only your subconscious, but your entire field of reality. You may have lived many years in the seeker's state, always moving toward, never arriving, always fixing, never finished, always trying, never being. But that ends now, because the Creator doesn't ask, will this work? The Creator speaks, and the world bends. The Creator breathes, and the dream responds. And the night, the beautiful, fertile field of subconscious creation, it opens to the vibration of certainty. So carry that certainty now, not in words, in being. You don't have to figure out how. You don't have to visualize every detail. You only have to become the one who already has it. That version of you knows what to do, knows how to move, knows what to feel. And as you fall asleep in that version, the entire dream state reshapes to reflect it. Because the subconscious doesn't speak English. It speaks energy. It speaks emotion. It speaks the language of frequency, not vocabulary. So let your frequency speak tonight. Let your being do the work. This is the most powerful thing you can do. Not plan harder. Not think more positively, but to sleep as the one you are becoming. And when the mind whispers, "But it's not real yet," smile gently. Because the Creator doesn't wait for evidence. The Creator creates the evidence. So say it silently as you drift. I no longer seek. I embody. I no longer beg. I become. I no longer try to manifest. I am the manifestation. And feel the truth of those words ripple through your nervous system. The breath slows. The mind quiets. The identity deepens. And from that place, the subconscious listens. It updates the script. It reorders the field. And the world you wake into tomorrow will not be the same one you left behind. Because you didn't just fall asleep. You stepped into the dream. As the Creator. Chapter 5. The feeling is the frequency. In the end, it all comes down to feeling. Not thought. Not effort. Not belief repeated by the lips, but unfelt in the body. The universe does not respond to empty mantras or hollow affirmations. It responds to frequency, and frequency is set by feeling. What you feel is what you become. What you become is what you attract. This is not philosophy. This is law. You cannot fake vibration. You cannot outthink your frequency. You cannot hide what you are radiating because your reality is already telling the truth. You want to know what you really believe? Look around. Look within. Look at what keeps repeating, what keeps returning, what keeps finding you again and again. That is your frequency. That is your emotional baseline. And it was shaped not by your affirmations, but by your feelings. By the silent, invisible emotional states you return to again and again, especially at night. This is why Dream Alchemy begins with feeling. Because in the absence of feeling, nothing changes. And in the presence of authentic, aligned feeling, everything does. The subconscious doesn't understand your goals. It doesn't care about the long list of things you want to manifest. But it does respond to the one thing it has always obeyed: emotional truth. So ask yourself now, what emotional truth are you rehearsing as you fall asleep? Do you carry a feeling of lack, even as you speak of abundance? Do you whisper, "I am worthy," while still feeling shame in your bones? Do you repeat, "I am successful," while the dominant feeling within you says otherwise? This is not failure. This is awareness. And awareness is your power. Because now you can change it. Not by yelling louder, not by reciting longer, but by going deeper. By entering the space beneath the words. By dropping into the vibration of already having. This is the alchemy. It is the great transmutation of fear into peace, of doubt into certainty, of wanting into being. And it begins with one simple but revolutionary decision: to feel now what you once said you would feel when it happens. The world taught you to wait, to delay your joy until the evidence appears, to postpone your gratitude until the conditions match. to feel confident only after success is secured. But Dream Alchemy teaches the opposite. Feel it now, and the evidence will follow. Feel it before, and reality will mirror your state. Because feeling is the signal, and signal shapes substance. The subconscious doesn't respond to time. It responds to intensity and repetition. So the most magnetic thing you can do tonight is to feel now what you desire to feel tomorrow. Not as a trick, not as a test, but as truth. What would it feel like to be free? What would it feel like to be adored, chosen, trusted? What would it feel like to be safe in your body, abundant in your soul, radiant in your presence? That feeling is the code. That feeling is the prayer. That feeling is the frequency that turns dreams into data, into form, into fact. So pause here, breathe, let the body settle, and imagine the energy of already having. Let the images go. Let the vision boards dissolve. What's the feeling behind it all? Joy? Power? Certainty? Peace? Now amplify it. Gently, not through pressure, through permission. You are not manufacturing emotion, you are revealing what has always been available. Let it rise like a current. Let it fill your chest, your belly, your fingertips. Let it move beyond thought and into being. And now, carry that into sleep. Because when you fall asleep in a state of elevated emotion, the subconscious receives a command. It says, "This must be who we are now. This must be reality. Let us make it so." And then it does. That's the miracle of the dream state. That's the gateway most forget to walk through. But you remember now. You don't fall asleep to escape life. You fall asleep to feel the future into form. So here is your ritual tonight. As you lie down, breathe slowly. Drop the thinking. Drop the strategy. Drop the mental gymnastics. And choose one elevated feeling, just one. Maybe it's trust. Maybe it's fulfillment. Maybe it's joy. Now, imagine it as a light in your chest, warm, expanding, glowing. Let it spread. Let it fill the room. And then, let it become your pillow. Let it become your blanket. Let it become your dream. Hold it. Let it hold you. And fall asleep inside the vibration of everything you thought you had to wait for. Because when you make this your new nightly ritual, you begin to rewire reality. The world no longer leads your feelings. Your feelings begin to lead the world. This is the sacred reversal. This is the return to creative power. The feeling is the manifestation, and when you hold it long enough, the form must follow. It cannot do otherwise, because the universe is obedient to emotion. Reality is faithful to frequency. And tonight, you vibrate with the frequency of completion, not desire, not potential, but presence. This is the truest magic of dream alchemy, that as you sleep, the field reorganizes around your frequency. That as you feel, you form. That as you dream, you design. So fall asleep in truth tonight. Not the truth of the past, the truth of the new you. And the world will not only respond, it will become you. Chapter 6. Releasing the day. Clearing space for dream magic. Every day, you absorb energy. You gather it without knowing. You pick it up from conversations, headlines, memories, tasks left undone. It clings to you not just in thought, but in your field. You carry it like invisible weight. And then, each night, without realizing, you take that weight with you into sleep, into your subconscious, into the sacred space where your future is being shaped. This is why so many people dream of stress, wake up exhausted, and repeat the same patterns over and over again. They never clear the slate. They never pause to cleanse the mind, the body, the spirit before slipping into the realm of dreams. But the dream world is a temple, and you must enter it clean. To program your subconscious for power, for wealth, for peace, you must first make room for it. No architect builds a palace on top of a crumbling foundation. No gardener plants roses in a bed tangled with weeds. You must first release. This is the forgotten art of sleep. Not falling into it, not collapsing into it, but consciously preparing for it. Treating the moments before sleep like you would a sacred ritual, not rushed, not reactive, but reverent. So before anything else tonight, we begin with clearing. Clearing the thoughts that no longer serve. Clearing the stories that are not yours. Clearing the emotions that pass through you today but do not belong to you now. You see, you are not meant to carry it all. You are not designed to hold the weight of the world inside your body. You are meant to process, release, and renew. And your sleep, your deepest, most nourishing sleep, begins the moment you let go. So take a breath now. A full, unhurried breath. Exhale longer than you inhale. This is the signal to your nervous system that it is safe to release, that the day is over, that you do not need to solve it. You do not need to replay it. You do not need to protect yourself from what already passed, because the past no longer lives here. You do, and you are sacred. Let that breath fall into stillness now, and from that stillness, begin your release. Scan your body from your crown to your toes. Where do you feel heaviness? Where do you feel tightness? Where do you feel like you're still bracing for something? That is your body's way of asking for release. Give it. Give it with your breath. Give it with your presence. Say to yourself, silently or aloud, I release what is not mine. I release what I no longer need. I release what cannot follow me into the dream. And now, feel into the emotions of the day. Where did you feel unseen? Where did you feel overwhelmed, unworthy, uncertain? Where did you pick up fear in passing glances, in digital noise, in old mental loops? You do not have to carry it anymore. You get to set it down. Not because it's been solved, but because your soul is ready for something greater, something clearer, something true. The subconscious is listening, always, and it cannot bring you into a higher timeline if you fall asleep rehearsing the lower one. So tonight, we clear it. We offer it up to Source, to Spirit, to the silence that holds all things. Not with pressure, with grace. Imagine now, if you like, that there is a bowl beside your bed, a golden bowl, wide and still. And into that bowl, you gently place everything you do not want to carry into your sleep. Not with force, with love. Place the conversation that hurt. Place the doubt that whispered. Place the fear that echoed through your body, even if you couldn't name it. Let it go. It is not weakness to release. It is wisdom. You are creating space now, sacred space, for something far more powerful to enter. And in that space, your true self, the dreamer, the alchemist, is rising. You don't need to know how to fix the world. You only need to know how to cleanse your inner world each night, so that the universe has somewhere pure to land its blessings. This is the power of nightly clearing. You are not escaping the day, you are transmuting it. You are not forgetting, you are forgiving. You are not denying, you are dissolving. Because when the field is clear, manifestation becomes easy. The signals you send become pure. The subconscious receives them like sunlight on open water. There is no static, no distortion, only clarity. Only yes. So tonight, Make this your vow. I do not carry yesterday into tomorrow. I do not carry the weight of what was into the creation of what will be. I release, I allow, I receive. These are not just words. These are the new commands of your subconscious mind. These are the vibrations that cleanse the soil of your being so that the seeds of your future may bloom. And when you wake, you will not feel heaviness. You will feel newness, lightness, open space. You will become a magnet again, not by trying, but by letting go of everything that once made you dense. Let this become your practice. Before sleep, scan. Before sleep, forgive. Before sleep, return. Return to the stillness that was always beneath the noise. Return to the truth that was always louder than the lies, if only you knew how to listen. Return to the version of you that never needed to carry everything to prove anything. And fall asleep in that clarity. Fall asleep in that peace. And in the stillness that follows your release, the magic begins. Because a clear field is a powerful field. And you are clear now. You are ready now. You are no longer burdened by the day you are open to the dream. And the dream will meet you there. Chapter 7, Scripting the Dream, Planting Instructions into the Night. The mind may rest, but the soul continues. While the body sleeps, the dreamer writes. And with every word, every emotion, every whispered belief you imprint before you close your eyes, you begin to script the night, and with it, the life that awaits you when the sun returns. You may not remember every dream, but the dream remembers you. The subconscious records it all, and it obeys what you assume, not what you hope, not what you wish, but what you genuinely, consistently assume to be true. And the most fertile time to reshape those assumptions is in the precious, unguarded moments before sleep. This is not about writing with pen and paper. This is about scripting with vibration, scripting with certainty, scripting with inner dialogue that speaks to your subconscious like a director guiding a stage. Tonight, you become the author, not of your past, not of your excuses, but of your energetic script, the one the subconscious will perform in the theater of reality, whether you choose to direct it or not. This is your opportunity to choose. Because every single night, you send your subconscious a message. If you do it unconsciously, that message might sound like, "I'm overwhelmed. Nothing's working. I hope something changes soon. I'll probably wake up tired." And the subconscious, obedient and neutral, responds, "Yes, we'll make that happen." But when you script the dream deliberately, everything changes. You begin to speak the words of alignment, not accident. You begin to encode the vibration of arrival, not anticipation. You begin to fall asleep in a reality you've designed, not a reality you've inherited. And you wake up inside that new creation, because the dream always listens. So tonight, let's begin the sacred art of inner scripting. No pages, no journals, just energy, just presence, just the whisper of a new frequency spoken within the silence of your breath. Breathe now. Let the outer world grow dim. Let the light within begin to glow. And let your internal narrator begin to speak. But this time, not as a victim, not as a reactor, not as someone repeating the past. Let it speak as the version of you who already lives the dream. And let the line sound something like this. Everything is always working out for me. I live in divine flow. Money comes to me in expected and unexpected ways. I trust the unfolding of my life. I am deeply loved, deeply safe, and deeply supported. Let these words rise not from your throat, but from your being. You don't need to say them out loud. You only need to feel them as true. Let them echo through your body. Let them reverberate through your heart space. Let them become the rhythm you fall asleep to. And here's the real power. Don't just speak them, see them. Because the subconscious speaks in image, not grammar. If you say, "I am wealthy," and feel doubt, the message gets lost. But if you see yourself holding wealth, living freely, breathing easily, and you feel that image in your body, the message becomes magnetic. So pair your inner script with sensation. Feel the comfort of being supported. Feel the peace of knowing it's all unfolding. Feel the ease of already done. The subconscious doesn't need 1,000 words. It needs one clear directive, repeated with emotional authority. This is your rehearsal space. This is your temple of truth. This is where you install the inner software that creates your outer experience. And as you do this, night after night, your identity begins to shift. Because you're no longer scripting from the outside in. You're scripting from the inside out. And the subconscious obeys. It doesn't argue. It doesn't hesitate. It doesn't ask if you deserve it. It simply accepts the script you rehearse, especially the one you repeat before sleep. So what script will you give it? What narrative do you want to wake into? Let that become your bedtime story. But not the kind you listen to. The kind you author. A story where you are not trying to receive, you are already receiving. A story where you are not trying to become, you already are. Say it again, gently, before you drift. I am safe. I am whole. I am in alignment with everything I desire. It is already done. Let the words soften you. Let the breath follow them into the space between thought and dream. And now, feel the shift. You are no longer drifting randomly into sleep. You are sailing into it with purpose, with precision, with the quiet command of a soul that remembers its power. You are no longer hoping your mind behaves. You are training your subconscious like a trusted ally. And it listens. It listens to the script you whisper. It listens to the certainty behind your words. It listens to the frequency you fall asleep in. And it says, yes. Yes to this version. Yes to this timeline. Yes to this new dream. And in the weeks that follow, your waking life will reflect the scenes you've rehearsed. The doors will open. The timing will align. The resources will arrive. Not because of coincidence, but because of scripting. You wrote it. You aligned with it. You became it. So tonight, speak softly to yourself, but speak as a master. Not to beg, not to fix, but to command, with love, with reverence, with clarity, and fall asleep with the knowledge that the universe is already turning the script into structure. This is Dream Alchemy. This is subconscious alignment. This is your new way of sleeping, not passively, but powerfully. Sleep well, dreamer. Your script is being printed into reality. Chapter 8. Aligning with the dream before you close your eyes. Most people spend their days wishing, their evenings hoping, and their nights unconsciously rehearsing the opposite of everything they want. They ask for abundance, but fall asleep in fear. They dream of love, but drift off feeling unworthy. They long for freedom, while their final thoughts are shackled in stress. And so the next day begins like the last, because nothing changes until the frequency before sleep changes. The dream cannot deliver what the dreamer does not carry into it. You are not here to beg for your desires. You are here to become the match, to align so deeply with the life you choose that even in your unconscious state, the energy remains steady, still, secure. And the moment that happens, the moment your body, your breath, your inner world aligns before your head touches the pillow, the dream takes over. It begins to build the bridge between your inner truth and your outer reality. This chapter is your nightly preparation. It is the soft calibration, the gentle tuning, the final frequency you bring into the sacred field of sleep. Because alignment is not about thinking perfect thoughts. It's not about holding a high vibration all day long. It's about entering sleep in agreement with your future. And to do that, you must choose how to feel, who to be, and what to expect before you cross the threshold. So breathe now. Set everything down. Let the noise of the day dissolve. You are not here to carry it forward. You are here to reattune, to remember. Let your breath drop lower into the body. Let your shoulders soften. Let the jaw release. Let the mind begin to quiet. And with that softening, feel into the version of you that you are calling in. What do they feel like? Are they anxious? No. They are calm. Are they desperate? Never. They are trusting. Are they still reaching? Still waiting? Still questioning? No. They are rooted. They are secure. They are already arrived. Let that version rise within you now. Not with fantasy, with familiarity. This is not a stranger. This is you. A version that has always existed in the field, in the potential, in the dream. And now, it is rising into form, through alignment, through permission, through the sacred choice to embody it before sleep. Feel into it. What would you expect tomorrow if you already knew you were supported? What would you assume about life if your desires were guaranteed? What would you feel in your body if you no longer had to wait for proof because you were already walking in the truth? That is alignment. It is not about chasing outcomes. It is about shifting your posture, your tone, your being to match what you say you want and letting that state carry you into rest. This is the nightly practice of those who manifest with ease. They do not focus on time. They focus on timelessness. They know that every desire already exists, not in the future, but in a parallel now. And their only job is to attune to it. Not forcefully, not with strain, but with faith, with feeling, with frequency. So right now, speak softly to your body. It is safe to let go. It is safe to receive. I do not need to solve anything tonight. I simply need to return to the frequency of what is already mine, and let the body respond. Let the tension unravel. Let the breath deepen. Let the mind settle. You do not need to visualize with intensity. You do not need to recite anything perfectly. You only need to align, to feel the truth of your becoming not as a wish, but as a knowing. And if doubt arises, greet it gently. Not as an enemy, as an echo, a remnant of old frequency, a voice from a timeline you've already chosen to leave. And then, choose again. Choose alignment. Choose calm. Choose certainty. Not because everything is perfect, but because you no longer depend on appearances. You've remembered the secret, that the dream responds to the state, not the story. And your state, right now, is what writes the script of what comes next. So align with what you love. Align with what makes you feel whole. Align with what excites your soul, not what satisfies your survival. You are no longer falling asleep into old patterns. You are walking into the dream as a conscious participant, a co-creator, a vibrational match to the new. And in this state, you begin to merge with the version of you who already lives the life you once believed you had to fight for. Feel their breath. Feel their peace. Feel their quiet confidence that does not require evidence because it is built on truth. This is the practice. This is the path. To choose your frequency before sleep. To align before dreaming. To become before receiving. And it is enough. There is nothing more you need to do tonight. The field is listening. The subconscious is open. The universe is waiting for your signal. And you are aligned. You are soft, yet rooted. Still, yet powerful. Receptive, yet commanding. And as you close your eyes, that alignment does not fade. It deepens. It expands. It enters the dream with you and begins shaping the formless into form, because that's what alignment does. It does not force. It allows. It does not chase. It invites. And now, as the veil of sleep begins to fall, you walk across the bridge you've built, into the dream, into the field, into the version of you who has already arrived. And the dream will know exactly what to do with you. Chapter 9, Dreamwalking. The art of traveling timelines in sleep. The ancients knew a secret that modern minds have forgotten. That sleep is not an ending. It is an opening, a portal, a passage, a bridge between realms where your consciousness is no longer bound by logic, memory, or linear time. And if you know how to walk the dream, if you know how to carry intention into the silence, you can travel across timelines and awaken in a different reality. This is the art of dreamwalking, the sacred act of stepping beyond current circumstance and into the quantum landscape of what already exists. You see, the world you live in right now is not the only version of you. There are infinite timelines, infinite versions of your life playing out in parallel like radio frequencies. They all exist now, not in the future, not someday, now, waiting for one thing only: your resonance. And the moment you match that frequency, the moment you feel and embody the energy of that timeline, you shift subtly at first, then visibly, then completely. The people change. The synchronicities increase. The obstacles dissolve. The identity you once clung to crumbles and a new one rises, familiar but far more powerful. This is not fantasy. This is physics. This is the reality behind the dream. Every night, when you fall asleep, you disconnect from the ego's grip. You release your name, your job, your memories, your current limitations. You slip beneath the veil, and for a few sacred hours, you become pure consciousness. And from that place, you can travel. Not with effort, with energy. Not with maps, with emotion. Because the subconscious does not move through physical doors, it moves through vibrational signatures. So if you want to access the timeline where you are already abundant, you must carry the frequency of already having. If you want to step into the version of you who is confident, radiant, fulfilled, you must align with the energy of that self and carry it into the dream. This is how dreamwalking begins. Not with vivid dreams, with vivid alignment. So tonight, before you surrender to the unconscious, prepare the field. Close your eyes and ask yourself, what timeline do I wish to step into? What version of me already lives the life I crave? How do they feel in their body? How do they breathe? How do they move through the world? Don't analyze, attune. Let your body become that self. Let your breathing slow to their pace. Let your chest expand as theirs does. Let your spine straighten with quiet authority. Let your thoughts dissolve and let knowing arise in their place. Now, you are holding the key. The frequency is set, and as you fall asleep in this vibration, this beingness, the dream opens. And within that space, the subconscious accepts the new directive. It says, "Ah, this is who we are now." And reality begins to shift. Not instantly, not always with fireworks, but subtly, surely, silently, like stars rearranging themselves behind the curtain of night. This is dreamwalking. You do not chase the new self. You become it and allow the dream to carry you to the matching world. Some call it shifting. Some call it parallel jumping. Some call it quantum leaping. But the name doesn't matter. What matters is this: you are not stuck. You never were. You've simply been tuned to a particular timeline, and now you're learning how to tune to another. And the dial is emotion. The dial is energy. The dial is embodied identity. So tonight, let your identity evolve. You are not the version of you who struggles, doubts, and clings. You are not the one who needs to control, prove, or hustle for every inch of progress. That was a mask, a costume, a survival version. Tonight, you shed that skin. You strip away the layers. You return to your original code, and you dream as the version who is already whole. The version who doesn't need the proof, because they are the proof. The version who doesn't need the dream, because they live inside it. And from this new place, from this frequency, you can travel freely. Not in your imagination, in the quantum. Because once the subconscious accepts the shift, it pulls the outer world into alignment. It sends new thoughts, new ideas, new paths, new people. Because the outer must match the inner. It is law. And so, the dream becomes the map. The sleep becomes the ceremony. The subconscious becomes the guide. And all you must do is carry the feeling long enough for it to become real. This is not just about sleep. This is about mastery. This is about reclaiming your power to shape your reality, not with force, but with frequency. You are not chasing your dream life. You are dream walking into it. So before you drift off tonight, ask yourself once more, who do I choose to be? What timeline do I now inhabit? And how does it feel to be home there? Feel it. Let it fill your chest. Let it soften your mind. Let it become your new truth. And fall asleep not as a question, but as an answer. Not as a seeker, but as a sovereign soul who understands. I shift worlds with my frequency. I cross timelines with my breath. I travel the dream as the creator, and the dream obeys. Chapter 10. Becoming magnetic while you sleep. It is often said that what you chase runs. That desire, when laced with grasping, creates resistance. That the harder you try to control outcomes, the more elusive they become. But the universe, wise and ancient, is not moved by pressure. It is moved by resonance, by magnetism, by your ability to attract, not force. And so the secret is this: the most powerful manifestation happens not when you're awake and striving, but when you're asleep and aligned. The subconscious does not need your effort. It needs your signal. And the clearer that signal becomes, the more magnetic you become to everything you've ever desired. But what is magnetism, really? It is not charm. It is not charisma. It is not effort or performance. It is alignment without resistance. It is the quiet, stable, unwavering inner posture of someone who has become one with their desire, not through wanting but through being. Someone who no longer begs the field, but commands through the silent language of frequency. And when that frequency is pure, when it is unshaken by doubt, unburdened by fear, and unpolluted by contradiction, it draws. Not with noise, with stillness. Not with trying, with certainty. And the most potent moment to access that stillness, that magnetic field of pure drawing power, is right before you sleep. Because the conscious mind, with all its overthinking, doubting, efforting, finally relaxes. And the subconscious, loyal and listening, begins to absorb, to reflect, to attract, based on the final vibration you offered it before surrendering to the dream. So the real question is not, what do I want to manifest? The real question is, what am I falling asleep as? Are you falling asleep in lack while hoping to attract wealth? Are you falling asleep in loneliness while scripting a future of love? Are you falling asleep in the chaos of control while praying for peace? The universe doesn't hear your words. It hears your state. It matches your energy, not your effort. So, to become magnetic, you must begin your manifestation not in the morning, but in the moments before sleep. You must learn to enter your rest as the version of you who is already in receiving mode. Receiving is not passive. It is powerful. It is not about doing nothing. It is about doing the only thing that matters, holding the frequency of fulfillment long enough for the field to respond. So, what is your frequency right now? Close your eyes. Breathe. Sink. Feel what lives in your chest. Not what you want to feel. Not what you tell yourself to feel. But what is truly there. This is not judgment. This is awareness. If there is tightness, soften. If there is fear, breathe deeper. If there is longing, convert it to presence. And then choose again. Choose to feel how it would feel if it were already done. Not in theory. In sensation. Feel your body now as the body of someone whose dream life is real. How does that version lie in bed? How does their jaw rest? What does their breath sound like? Is there tension or ease? Let that feeling replace the old pattern. You are not tricking yourself. You are tuning yourself. You are offering the field a new blueprint, not through logic, but through lived, embodied energy. This is the source of magnetism. It is not the vision board. It is the version of you who already lives inside the vision. And that version becomes magnetic, not by commanding others, but by commanding their own frequency. So say softly now, I am open to receive. I am worthy of ease. Everything I desire is already on its way. I am a magnet for miracles, and I release all resistance now. Let those words ripple through you. Not as an affirmation, but as a realignment. Let them dissolve the tension of trying. Let them call back your energy from all the places you've scattered it. Let them remind you, you do not need to chase what is already yours. You only need to allow it. And allowance is your superpower. It is the art of relaxed readiness, of prepared stillness, of open-hearted certainty. And when you sleep in this state, the field bends around you. The subconscious becomes a magnetized portal. The dream becomes a transmission. And reality begins rearranging to match the signal you encoded into the night. You see, your subconscious is not your enemy. It is your amplifier. It will amplify whatever you hand it. Fear or faith. Resistance or readiness. Separation or union. So tonight, hand it something worthy. Fall asleep not in maybe, but in, of course. Not in I hope, but in I am. Not in someday, but in now. Because the magnetic field you generate in sleep will do more to shape your reality than any to-do list, any vision board, any action plan. This is the higher intelligence of the universe. It does not reward struggle. It responds to clarity. And your clarity becomes electric when you learn to rest in it. So let rest become your ritual. Let sleep become your sacred ceremony. You are not falling asleep tonight to escape your life. You are falling asleep to call it into alignment, to become the magnet you were always meant to be. And the more you do this night after night, with softness, with love, the more your field begins to change. The more miracles begin to find you. Not because you chased them, but because you remembered. You attract what you are. And you are already enough, already whole, already the one. So sleep now, magnet, and let the dream carry the signal forward. The universe already heard you. Now, let it come to you. Chapter 11, The Subconscious Gatekeeper, Rewiring Identity While You Rest. There is a gate inside of you. Not a physical gate, but a spiritual one. A threshold between who you've been and who you're becoming. And each night, without realizing it, you stand before this inner doorway. The conscious mind begins to fade, and the subconscious begins to rise, ready to record, ready to obey, ready to accept whatever you decide to imprint into it. This moment, the liminal space between waking and sleeping, is sacred. It is the gate of transformation. It is where old identities dissolve and new realities begin. The question is, what are you bringing through that gate? Because the subconscious is not judging you. It is not testing you. It is not challenging you. It is simply accepting. And whatever you hand it, fear or faith, shame or power, lack or abundance, it says, yes, this is who we are now. Let me shape reality accordingly. You see, most people think their subconscious runs on memory. But that is only part of the truth. What the subconscious truly runs on is identity. It is constantly asking, who are we? And whatever your answer is, not in thought, but in feeling, in energy, in certainty, becomes the operating system through which your life is filtered. So if you fall asleep in an identity of not enough, the subconscious codes that into your behavior. If you drift into dream as someone still doubting, still waiting, still reaching, the subconscious will build circumstances that keep you in that loop. But if you close your eyes each night as the version of you who is already complete, already worthy, already receiving, the subconscious rewires your identity to match that blueprint. And that changes everything. Because your identity is not a fixed thing. It is a script that can be edited, rewritten, refined. And the most powerful editor's pen you possess is held in the quiet, sacred space before sleep. This is the moment of greatest influence, when the conscious guard is down and the subconscious gatekeeper is fully alert, open, and responsive. So breathe now. Let your day fall away. Let your outer persona dissolve. Let the masks and expectations fade into stillness. And ask yourself, who am I becoming tonight? Who am I giving the subconscious permission to believe in? What version of me am I going to hand to the dream to sculpt into form? This is not about pretending. It is about programming. It is about choosing your next level self and allowing that self to seep into your body, your cells, your breath, until it becomes more familiar than the old story ever was. So imagine now, just for a moment, the version of you who already has the life you crave. The wealth, the love, the freedom, the peace. Let that version appear not as fantasy, but as familiar. They're not different from you. They are you, just wearing less fear, less resistance, fewer patterns borrowed from the past. Feel into their energy. How do they hold themselves? How do they move through the world? How do they think about time, money, relationships, their purpose? Let their posture become yours. Let their breath become your breath. Let their calm become your state of being. And now, from this place, speak the new identity into your system. Say it within. Let it echo in the space behind your eyes. I am abundant. I am supported. I am magnetic. I am chosen. I am safe. I am the embodiment of everything I once chased. Let those words settle, not in your head, but in your core. Let them replace the tired dialogue of doubt. Let them dissolve the programs that no longer belong to you, because every belief you hold was once installed. And now you are becoming the installer, the conscious sculptor of your subconscious world. You are handing your inner gatekeeper a new image to carry through the night. And in doing so, you are handing the universe new instructions. Because identity is not something you wait to earn. It is something you choose to embody. And the more you embody it, especially in sleep, the faster the world reflects it. This is not theory. This is how reality functions beneath the surface. Your life bends around your self-concept. It cannot exceed it. It cannot bypass it. So, if you want to shift your world, you must shift your inner reference point. And the most effortless, powerful time to do so is while the body rests and the subconscious listens. So tonight, let yourself release the old labels. Let them fall off like clothing that no longer fits. You do not need to carry the identity of the struggler, of the seeker, of the one who almost gets there. You are not becoming. You are revealing. You are revealing the self that has always existed behind the veil of conditioning and giving it permission to lead. Let this version of you take the front seat. Let them speak the script. Let them hold the vibration. Let them drift into dream and plant the seeds of new identity in the rich soil of the unconscious. You will not need to try. You will not need to remember every line. You only need to feel it as true. Because feeling is the language of the subconscious. Emotion is the lock. And embodiment is the key. So now, rest in that identity. Not as a ritual, not as a task, but as a truth. Let the version of you that lives in abundance, power, love, and peace become the one who sleeps tonight. And as they sleep, the gatekeeper will take note. And as they dream, the field will begin to bend. And when you wake, the world will have already started to shift in your favor. Because you didn't just rest. You reprogrammed the route. You rewrote the role. You handed the subconscious a new story, and it accepted without question. Because that is the power you hold. Always have. Now, it's simply time to wield it. So sleep now, as the self you truly are. And let the subconscious carry that truth into reality. Chapter 12. Dissolving Doubt in the Dream Field. Doubt is not the enemy of manifestation. It is the signal. It is the flickering light that says, this is where belief has not yet taken root. But most people treat doubt like poison. They fear it, suppress it, or try to smother it with louder affirmations. And yet, night after night, they fall asleep with that doubt still humming in the background, subtle, persistent, unaddressed. They script abundance while carrying the residue of, what if it doesn't work, into the dream. They visualize success, but sleep in fear of failure. And the subconscious, neutral and obedient, doesn't judge this conflict. It simply reflects it. The result? A life that mirrors their mixed vibration moments of light, followed by shadows of uncertainty. But what if doubt wasn't a block? What if it was a doorway? What if the moment of hesitation was your most sacred opportunity to rewire? Doubt arises not because you're broken, but because you're reaching beyond your current self-concept. It's the friction of expansion. It's your mind saying, this new belief doesn't match what we've always assumed. And instead of fighting it, you can transmute it, especially at night. Especially in the sacred field of the subconscious, where emotional energy is not just felt, it is installed. Tonight, instead of ignoring your doubt, you will dissolve it, not by arguing with it, not by force, but by feeling into the truth that's deeper than the doubt. Because beneath every doubt is a core belief, and beneath that core belief is a story, and stories can be rewritten. So pause, breathe. Let the body sink into the bed like soft earth receiving your roots, and gently bring your doubt to the surface. Not to shame it, to study it. What are you afraid won't happen? What part of you still wonders, what if I'm not ready? What if I'm not worthy? What if I try and nothing changes? Don't run from these thoughts. Meet them like an ancient sage meets a frightened child with presence, not punishment. Whisper to them now, "It's okay. You've been trying to protect me, but we're safe now. We're moving forward now." This is how you begin to release the grip of disbelief, not by burying it, by reparenting it. And as you do, something shifts. The body softens. The breath deepens. The resistance starts to dissolve. Because doubt can only survive in separation. And you are now returning to wholeness. Now, call forth a new state. Imagine what it feels like to be someone who never doubts, not because they're blindly positive, but because they're deeply aligned. They trust themselves. They trust the universe. They trust their inner voice more than their inner critic. Let that version of you rise now, not in your thoughts, but in your feeling field. Let them sit in your chest. Let them breathe through your lungs. Let them speak through your inner dialogue. And now from that place, look back at your old doubt. You'll notice it's smaller now, less convincing, less commanding, less rooted, because you've raised your vantage point. You are no longer in agreement with the frequency of doubt. You are anchored in the frequency of knowing. And from here, you can set new instructions for the subconscious to follow during the dream. Because once you stop arguing with doubt, you can replace it. This is the key. Not to beat the doubt into submission, but to make it irrelevant by choosing something more powerful. So now, say softly, "I trust the timing of my life. I trust that what is meant for me is already making its way. I trust that I am safe to receive. I trust myself. I trust the unfolding." Feel the resonance of those words. Not just in your mind, in your body, in your nervous system, in the silence behind your eyes. Let trust replace tension. Let peace replace panic. Let knowing replace guessing. This is not blind faith. This is embodied certainty, and your subconscious feels the difference. This is the alchemy of doubt. This is the power of transmutation. You are not just calming your mind tonight. You are installing a new operating system. And every time you repeat this process, the old wiring loses power. The neural pathways that once echoed, "What if it doesn't work?" fade from lack of use. And new pathways, "What if it works better than I imagined?" begin to grow stronger. Because the subconscious is plastic. It is moldable. It does not care how long you've believed a thing. It only cares how consistently you feel something now. So let the new feeling flood you. Let it pour through your system like golden light. Let it replace the static of old beliefs. Let it become your dominant frequency. And from that frequency, fall asleep. Fall asleep, not in effort, but in allowance. Not in proof, but in presence. Because you no longer need to convince yourself. You've already shifted into trust. And the dream will follow. The subconscious will accept your new settings. The field will begin reordering. The day you wake into will be shaped by the energy you chose tonight. Because you didn't deny the doubt. You dissolved it. And in doing so, you expanded your capacity to receive. This is the path of the master. Not to eliminate contrast, but to use it as fuel. Not to pretend fear doesn't exist, but to rise above its frequency and carry the light of truth into the dream. So, sleep now not as the doubter, but as the dreamer who remembers. You are the source. You are the scriptwriter. You are the frequency that calls it all forth. And every night, you return to this truth until it's no longer a practice, but your natural state of being. Chapter 13. Sleeping in the End, the Ritual of Already Having. The most powerful magic in the world is not found in action. It's found in assumption, in a quiet inner knowing that does not argue, does not reach, does not grasp. It simply is. This is the secret the mystics carried, the sages whispered, and the teachers of manifestation have always returned to. Live in the end, not in the wanting, not in the hoping, not in the one day it will come, but in the already done, in the already here, in the I am not the I will be. This is the highest form of alignment, and it is the most potent state to carry into the subconscious as you sleep. The dream doesn't wait for you to figure it all out. The dream waits for you to embody it. And the most aligned signal you can send, the one the universe cannot ignore, is falling asleep in the vibration of already having, already being, already living the life you once believed was far away. The ritual begins not with words but with being, with surrendering the part of you that thinks manifestation is about struggle and choosing the part of you that knows it is about alignment. So before sleep tonight, ask the question, if everything I wanted had already come to pass, how would I feel right now? Not how would I celebrate tomorrow. Not what would I post or prove. Not what would I say to others. But how would I feel in this quiet, private moment before sleep, knowing the life I've longed for has arrived? Would your chest relax? Would your breath deepen? Would your mind slow, knowing there's nothing more to chase? Would your body sink into the sheets like a sovereign being, safe inside your own becoming? That's the feeling to find now. That's the posture of already done. This is what we mean when we say, live in the end. It's not about acting. It's about resting in the truth that your desire is already yours. The details don't matter. The timeline doesn't matter, because when the state is correct, the structure forms around it. When the frequency is steady, the form becomes inevitable. Your subconscious doesn't need blueprints. It needs certainty. So breathe now and give it that certainty. Imagine the version of you who just received the call, the email, the payment, the miracle, the breakthrough. What are they doing in this moment? They're not thinking. They're being. They're not performing. They're glowing. They're not hoping. They're knowing. Let that version of you become the one who lays down to rest tonight. Let them pull the covers. Let them close the eyes. Let them carry the feeling not of waiting, but of welcoming. This is the shift that collapses time, because time obeys vibration. When you hold the frequency of someday, the future stretches farther away. But when you hold the frequency of now, the future rushes to meet you. This is not wishful thinking. This is physics of the field. So many try to manifest from the wrong end of the stick, thinking they must hustle their way into alignment. But what if you simply assume the state of fulfillment and let the world arrange itself around that assumption? Neville Goddard called this sleeping in the wish fulfilled. And those words are more than poetic. They are instruction. They are initiation. They are the most potent technology of transformation. Because when you sleep in the end, you bypass the conscious filters. You speak directly to the architect, the subconscious, and you say, this is who we are now. This is the reality we accept. This is the frequency we dwell in. This is what we are aligned with, not tomorrow, but tonight. And the subconscious listens. The universe listens, because both are servants of your dominant vibration. So let that vibration be the end state, the completed feeling, the frequency of the future brought into the present. You don't need to know how it will come. You only need to know how it feels when it's already here. This is the essence of dream alchemy. This is the sacred art of replacing hope with identity, of replacing seeking with arrival, of falling asleep not as the version of you that longs, but as the version of you that has. So say it softly now, as a mantra for your being. It is done. It is done. It is done. Let the vibration of completion ripple through you. Let it settle into your cells like a lullaby. Let it anchor your nervous system. And feel how deeply peace arrives when there is nothing left to chase. This is the energy of the magnet. The field cannot resist this. Reality must mold itself around this, not because you demanded it, but because you finally stopped fighting your own desire. You allowed it. You accepted it. You became the version of you who is a match to it. And now, you sleep in that knowing. The subconscious will take this truth and build your future around it. The dream realm will take this feeling and sculpt it into symbols, signs, and synchronicities. And when you wake, you will carry the residual imprint of this vibration into your day, and the world will respond accordingly. This is not imagination. This is the higher intelligence of creation. So tonight, do not fall asleep in waiting. Do not fall asleep in potential. Fall asleep in completion, in rest, in certainty, in arrival. Let every breath whisper, I already am. I already have. It is already done. And from this place, the dream will begin to recode your life, not from the mind, from the field, not from thought, from frequency. You are no longer becoming. You are being. You are no longer seeking. You are sleeping inside the very state that draws your desire to you with elegance and ease. Sleep well now, Creator. Your assumption is sacred. Your end state is powerful, and your new reality is already in motion. Chapter 14. The energy that dreams respond to. Energy is not abstract. It is not vague, mysterious, or intangible. Energy is the language of the universe. It is the alphabet of creation. It is the signal your body sends, your heart broadcasts, your field carries every second of the day, and most importantly, every second of the night. And when you sleep, your dominant energy becomes the code your subconscious records. It becomes the vibration the dream begins to act upon, and soon it becomes the reality you live. So the question is not, what do I want to manifest? The question is, what energy am I becoming so familiar with that it shows up in everything I touch? This chapter is not about what you think. It's about what you radiate, what you emit, what you transmit into the field when your mouth is closed, your eyes are shut, and your conscious mind has finally gone quiet. Because when your words fall silent, your energy speaks louder. The energy that dreams respond to is not frantic. It is not impatient. It does not chase or worry or plead. It is steady. It is still. It is certain. It is the quiet hum of someone who knows who they are, what they are worth, and that all they desire is already seeking them in return. When you fall asleep tonight, that is the energy you will begin to embody. Not because you're perfect. Not because you did enough today. Not because you finally reached some imaginary milestone that makes you worthy. No, because you choose it. Because you remember the truth that was always yours. Energy creates. Your reality is not based on what you hope for. It is based on what you feel at your deepest level of being. And that feeling, that base emotional frequency, becomes your instruction manual to the dream. So what are you instructing tonight? What feeling are you handing over to the subconscious? What signal are you beaming into the quantum field? Feel into your body now, gently, not with judgment, with awareness. Where is your energy heavy? Where is it light? Where is it clenched? Where is it flowing? Breathe into the tension, not to fix it, to soften it. Your breath is your reset button. It is the great energetic calibrator. It will take you back to neutral, then lift you into the magnetic. Let your exhale lengthen now. Let your heart rate slow. Let your nervous system shift into parasympathetic peace, the state of restoration, the state of receiving. Now that you are here, now that the system is listening, offer it new instructions, not as wishful affirmations, as energetic decisions. Feel the frequency of joy, not because something happened, but because you allowed it. Feel the frequency of freedom, not because everything is solved, but because your soul is not bound to circumstance. Feel the frequency of love, not the love someone gives you, but the love that arises from deep alignment with your own essence. These feelings are not just moods, they are transmitters, and your subconscious receives them as reality. So choose your reality now, even if the external world doesn't yet reflect it, even if your bank account, your relationship status, or your current job says otherwise. The dream doesn't listen to conditions. The dream listens to vibration. You are not limited by the facts of your life. You are empowered by the frequency you decide to dwell in. And every time you choose that frequency before sleep, you rewrite the script. You bend timelines. You invite a new cast of characters into your waking life. You open portals that logic will never understand, and you do it all by returning to this one truth. Energy leads. Reality follows. So don't try to feel good tonight as a reward for getting things right. Feel good as an act of alignment, as a declaration that your inner world is the true cause and your outer world is only the effect. Say softly now, not with your voice but with your essence. I remember who I am. I remember how powerful I am. I remember that my frequency shapes all form. And tonight, I sleep in a vibration that brings miracles to my door. Feel the shift as you say it. You are no longer the version of yourself that waits. You are no longer the version who doubts, questions, and negotiates with the universe. You are now the version who transmits clearly, boldly, beautifully. And the dream responds. The quantum responds. The life you've been working for begins to work for you. This is dream alchemy at its core. Not about fixing the outer world. About mastering your inner field. Not about being perfect. About becoming present. Because when you're present, fully embodied, fully attuned, you become magnetic without trying. And that magnetism doesn't sleep. It doesn't turn off. It doesn't disappear when the lights go out. It travels through the night. It moves through the corridors of the subconscious. It reshapes your patterns. It reorganizes your subconscious assumptions. And without you doing a thing, your life begins to match it. This is not luck. This is law. So let this be your final act tonight. Feel the energy you want to live inside of. Amplify it. Expand it. Let it take over your body like a warm current. Let it rise like soft light behind your closed eyes. Let it wrap you like a magnetic cocoon. And fall asleep not in thought but in transmission. Fall asleep as the vibration of joy. Fall asleep as the embodiment of peace. Fall asleep as the knowing of it is already done. And trust fully, deeply, silently that the universe is listening, not to your words, but to your energy, and it is ready to respond. Chapter 15, The Dream Mirror, How Night Reveals the Truth of You. Every night, as you close your eyes and surrender to sleep, a sacred mirror is placed before you. Not a mirror made of glass, but a vibration of light, shadow, feeling, and subconscious truth. And within this mirror, your truest identity is reflected back. Not the one you perform for others, not the one defined by titles, roles, or to-do lists, but the energetic signature of your being the one that speaks when you are silent, when your conscious filters dissolve, and when only your core frequency remains. The dream does not lie. It does not flatter or pretend. It simply reflects who you believe yourself to be. This is why some dreams feel heavy, not because they are prophetic, but because they are accurate. They are showing you the emotional residue you carry, the echoes of your assumptions, the tone of your self-perception. And when you understand this, you realize that dreams are not fantasy. They are a feedback loop. They are your soul's nightly report card whispering, "This is what you truly think is possible." So what are your dreams telling you? What have they been showing you lately through symbols, through feelings, through seemingly random scenarios? Not just the obvious ones, not just the flying or the falling or the teeth crumbling, but the subtle ones, the recurring rooms, the silent characters, the places you return to again and again. These are not accidents. These are reflections. And the beauty is, they can be rewritten, not by force, but by frequency. Because the dream mirror doesn't wait for circumstances to change. It responds to the dominant vibration you carry into the subconscious. If you fall asleep feeling unworthy, the dream shows you separation. If you fall asleep feeling abundant, the dream reveals ease. If you fall asleep feeling unseen, the dream echoes disconnection. If you fall asleep feeling magnetic, the dream reflects union, synchronicity, support. You don't need to interpret every dream. You only need to understand one truth. Your dreams mirror the identity you've accepted. And when you shift your identity, the dream shifts too. Tonight, you are going to use this to your advantage. Tonight, you are going to begin planting a new reflection, a new frequency, a new energetic tone that the subconscious will use to repaint your internal mirror. You are going to fall asleep as the version of yourself that no longer doubts, delays, or waits. You will fall asleep as the one who is already there, already in alignment, already receiving, already living inside the vibration of the wish fulfilled. And when you do, your dreams will begin to change, not because you tried to control them, but because you became someone new before entering them. This is the ancient art of dream seeding, and the process is simple. You do not tell your dream what to show you. You show your dream who you are. So breathe now. Feel your body soften. Let your day fall away like dust from your shoulders. You are no longer the identity that carried the to-do lists, the deadlines, the stories of past pain. You are not falling asleep as the person the world expects. You are falling asleep as the version of you that dreams know is true. The version you sometimes glimpse in silence. The version that doesn't need to hustle, strive, or fix. The version that radiates magnetism simply by existing. Feel into that being now. What is their energy? Not what do they look like, but what do they feel like? What tone fills their aura? What certainty lives in their breath? What light pulses from their chest? Hold that frequency like a soft candle behind your ribs. And now say silently, like a whisper into the mirror, I am ready to see myself clearly. I am ready to see what is already mine. I am ready to reflect my power, my truth, my alignment. Tonight, I sleep in the identity of arrival. Let those words become more than words. Let them vibrate in the space behind your closed eyes. Let them become the rhythm of your inhale and exhale. And as you drift, imagine that your dream is beginning to take form not from thought, but from essence. See nothing specific. Just trust that your subconscious is listening. And it will reflect back whatever state you choose to anchor. This is the alchemy of the dream mirror. It requires no ritual, no technique, no perfection. Only presence, only feeling, only the willingness to carry a new self-concept across the threshold of sleep. The dream doesn't need convincing. It only needs coherence. So align now. Feel what it's like to be completely at peace with who you are, not because you've fixed everything, but because you've remembered you were never broken. You don't need a new face in the mirror. You need a new frequency in the dream. And that frequency is one of, I am safe. I am guided. I am provided for. I am enough. I am whole. When you fall asleep in this knowing, the mirror glows with light, and your dream becomes more than a subconscious theater. It becomes a laboratory for reality creation. It becomes a field where new identities are tested, new beliefs are installed, and new outcomes are rehearsed. And soon, those outcomes appear in your waking world. Not because of magic, because of resonance. The dream showed you what you truly believed. And now, your beliefs are different. So, your life must be, too. This is the quiet power of those who know the dream mirror. They do not chase signs. They become the signal. They do not beg for answers. They sleep as the solution. They do not fear the night. They command it. And you are one of them now. So tonight, rest in the certainty that your reflection is changing. Not the one in the glass. The one in the quantum. The one the dream responds to. Sleep well. Reflection of truth. The mirror awaits. Chapter 16, The Sacred Portal, How Sleep Connects You to the Infinite. There is a portal you pass through each night. You do it without effort, without awareness, without even a whisper of acknowledgement. And yet, this portal is the most sacred threshold you cross in your entire day. It is the space between waking and dreaming, between thinking and feeling, between control and surrender. It is the moment where your body lies still, your breath softens, your mind dissolves, and your consciousness steps into the field of the infinite. Most people do not recognize this moment for what it is. They rush through it. They fall into sleep heavy with noise, filled with worry, loaded down with thoughts of things unfinished, undone, unfixed. And so, they miss it. They miss the opening the gateway that connects them not just to the world beyond, but to the self beyond. You see, sleep is not unconsciousness. It is re-entry. It is return. It is reunion with your deeper self, the one untouched by stories, untouched by limits, untouched by the illusions of time. Every night, as you fall asleep, you are not just resting. You are entering the source. You are stepping into the boundless intelligence that forms all things, the quantum ocean, the divine matrix, the infinite field. And within that space, there are no rules but one. You will receive whatever you are resonant with. The portal is neutral. It does not grant you what you want. It reflects who you are being. And so the invitation becomes clear. What version of you walks through the portal each night? Is it the you who is exhausted, small, and defeated by the day? Or is it the you who remembers, even in stillness, that you are a spark of the divine, returning to the place where all creation begins? This is where your true work begins. Not during the day, not in your doing, but right here in the sacred minutes before sleep. This is your temple. This is your altar. This is your doorway into the infinite. And what you bring with you matters. You do not bring to this portal your fear. You do not bring your doubt. You do not carry shame or stress across its threshold. You bring only alignment. You bring presence. You bring the frequency of that which you desire most, not as a wish, but as a reality already lived in. Because in this space, desire becomes design. The subconscious begins to record. The field begins to shift, and you become not a seeker, but a participant in the act of divine creation. Let your breath slow now. Let your awareness pull inward. Let the noise of the outer world fade into the background. You are approaching the edge of the known, and beyond it lies the infinite. Feel into this space, not with effort, with invitation. There is no resistance here. There is no effort. Only surrender. Only soft, open-hearted trust. Only the quiet remembrance that the dream you seek is not somewhere outside of you. It is already written in the field of the infinite, and you in this moment are stepping into it. What you feel now becomes the frequency of your dream. What you allow now becomes the instruction to your subconscious. What you embody now becomes the shape your future takes. So choose wisely, choose gently, and choose as someone who no longer doubts their role in creation. Because you are not asking the universe to give you something. You are walking back into the space where all things exist and choosing the frequency you wish to claim. Say it within now. I return to the infinite. I carry with me no resistance. I step into the field, open, ready, and aligned. I choose abundance. I choose peace. I choose the life already waiting for me on the other side of this portal. And as you speak these words silently, feel the shift. You are no longer falling asleep. You are crossing over. You are moving from the story of the day to the space beyond time. And in that space, you are limitless. In that space, you are remembered by the divine, by your soul, by the greater intelligence that holds all things. This is why sleep heals. This is why dreams transform. This is why inspiration, revelation, and quantum leaps often come after rest. Because while you sleep, the you that was never confused, never afraid, never lacking, never uncertain begins to lead again. And when that self leads, creation becomes effortless. Because you are no longer trying to force reality. You are flowing from source. You are aligned with the infinite. And from there, everything bends. The people show up. The money flows. The answers arrive. Not because you chased them, but because you entered the sacred portal in a state that made you magnetic to all of it. This is the power of dream alchemy. This is the wisdom of sleeping with intention. Not ritual for the sake of performance, but devotion to your highest vibration. You are no longer falling into unconsciousness. You are stepping into the formless realm where form begins. And when you emerge, the world cannot help but reflect what you carried into the portal. So carry peace, carry faith, carry knowing, carry the remembrance that you are not separate from the source. You are its expression. And when you sleep in this awareness, the dream becomes sacred. And the field responds in kind. So let go now. Let your body relax. Let your mind empty. And walk through the invisible doorway, back to where all miracles begin. Chapter 17. The frequency of receiving, becoming the open channel in sleep. You have been taught to ask, to visualize, to want, to declare. You have practiced affirmations, spoken intentions, written goals. You have called your desires into the universe with words, with rituals, with action. And yet, still, many ask, why hasn't it come? Why am I still waiting? Why does it feel like the dream delays? The answer is not in what you want. The answer is in how much space you've made to receive it. Because desire without receptivity is like shouting into the wind. The universe doesn't respond to noise. It responds to frequency. And the most magnetic frequency of all, the one that pulls miracles into your life with no effort, no chase, no delay, is the frequency of receiving, not forcing, not proving, not waiting, but open, available, aligned. The reason many never manifest what they call for is not because the dream is too big, but because the channel is too closed. So the question is not, have I asked clearly enough? The question is, am I truly ready to receive? To receive means to soften, to release the grip of control, to create space within emotional space, mental space, energetic space, to let go of the version of yourself that only feels safe when you're doing. Because receiving is not about doing, it is about being. Being in a state of such quiet trust, such deep allowance, such unwavering surrender that the universe has no choice but to fill the open space with the form of what you've longed for. But most fall asleep in resistance. They clutch. They overthink. They rehearse conversations, worry about outcomes, replay mistakes. They hand the subconscious the frequency of fear and call it preparation. And the subconscious, obedient as always, says, "Very well, we are preparing. We are not receiving yet. We are still needing to control. We are still not ready to be filled." But this stops now. Tonight, you are learning the sacred art of receiving in your sleep. You are becoming the open channel. You are no longer just asking, you are making room. Because the truth is simple. Manifestation cannot pour into a vessel that is already full of noise, fear, tension, and grasping. You must empty to be filled. So let's begin now. Breathe slowly. Release the shoulders. Let the weight of the day slide down your spine and into the mattress beneath you. There is nothing to solve here. Nothing to fix. Nothing to earn. You are not in performance. You are in presence. Feel the way your body responds when you stop asking how and start whispering yes. Because the frequency of receiving is not a strategy. It's a state. It's how your nervous system speaks to the field. It says, I no longer need to be on guard. I no longer need to brace myself. I am ready. I am open. I am aligned with ease. Say it now, gently, silently. I allow myself to receive. I am safe to receive. I do not need to prove or strive. It is already flowing, and I am already the one it flows to. Let those words sink not into your mind, but into your body. Let them soften your stomach, ease your chest, warm your palms. Because receiving begins as a physical shift. Then it becomes an energetic pattern. Then it becomes a reality. This is the path of Dream Alchemy. You are no longer falling asleep as the seeker. You are falling asleep as the receiver. The one who holds space with quiet dignity. The one who trusts in timing that does not need micromanaging. The one who knows, what is mine cannot miss me, and what is aligned will flow to me with grace if I only stop resisting it. This is your power now, not in how loudly you speak your desire, but in how softly you open your hands to welcome it. Because when you sleep in the frequency of receiving, your subconscious begins to remove all the patterns of rejection. The old stories that said, it's too good to be true. The old beliefs that whispered, it's not safe to have more. The old imprints that convinced you, you have to fight for every inch of good. They begin to fade. Because you are writing a new script, one that says, I receive with grace. I receive with joy. I receive without guilt or hesitation. I receive because it is who I am, not what I do. And as you sleep, the dream will begin to reflect this new energy. It will show you doors opening. It will show you symbols of abundance. It will whisper new possibilities into your subconscious, and they will become the instructions the quantum field follows when morning comes. This is how you change your life. Not by hustling harder, by receiving deeper. So let go now. Let your body rest in the posture of openness. No more clenching. No more defending. No more bracing for the worst. You are safe now. You are held now. You are the open channel, and the current of creation is flowing toward you. Let your sleep be an act of trust. Let your breath be an invitation. Let your dream become the vessel through which all that is already yours arrives silently, gently, powerfully. This is the way of the wise. This is the way of the aligned. This is the way of the one who no longer waits because they already live in the vibration of having. So sleep now, not in seeking, but in surrender, not in hoping, but in receiving. Chapter 18, The Power of Feeling Before Sleep, Emotion as the Gateway. There is a subtle moment just before sleep takes you, when your heart speaks louder than your mind. A moment when thoughts grow quiet, logic steps back, and what remains is the raw, pulsing truth of your emotional state. That feeling, that unfiltered frequency, is what the subconscious records. That feeling is what shapes your dreams. That feeling is what becomes the script your reality will soon follow. Because if the universe speaks any language fluently, it is the language of emotion. Not the words you say, not the intentions you write, not even the thoughts you think, but the feeling behind all of them. You can say, "I am abundant," 1,000 times. But if your emotional field hums with lack, that is what your dream will reflect. That is what your subconscious will imprint. That is what your tomorrow will repeat. So the secret is not just to affirm a new reality, but to feel it as if it already exists. This is the art of emotional encoding. This is how you alchemize dreams into matter. Because feeling is the gateway. Feeling is the signal. Feeling is the permission slip you give the universe to begin rearranging form. Tonight, you will step into that gateway not with effort but with softness, not with control but with surrender. You will offer the subconscious the one thing it responds to most powerfully: authentic emotional resonance. Not surface positivity, not forced happiness, but the real vibration of your desired state. So let us begin with presence. Close your eyes now. Let your attention drift downward into the body. Let the noise of the day fall away, like dust sliding off a robe. You are not in the past. You are not in the future. You are here, now. And now is where all creation begins. Take a deep breath. Let it move all the way into the belly. Exhale slowly. Let the body sink deeper into rest. And ask yourself softly, with reverence, what do I truly want to feel? Not what you think you should want, not what others expect of you, but what feeling, if you could live inside it tonight, would make you whole? Is it peace? Is it freedom? Is it the deep, golden warmth of being loved and seen? Is it joy, like sunlight spilling into an open room? Is it ease, like floating in warm water with no weight on your shoulders? Whatever that feeling is, summon it now. Not in your mind, in your body. Imagine it flowing in from above, from beyond, from within. Let it swirl through your chest. Let it glow behind your ribs. Let it move like honey through your spine. Don't try to hold it. Don't try to force it. Just receive it. Just let yourself feel. Because the subconscious does not respond to commands. It responds to consistency. It responds to clarity. It responds to how long you can remain inside a single, unwavering vibration. So now, make that feeling your home. Breathe into it. Expand it. Let it wash away every lesser thought. And know, this is the moment of creation. Not tomorrow when you wake up, not when the manifestation arrives, but now. Now is when the imprint is made. Now is when your subconscious opens its arms and asks, "Is this who we are?" And you get to say, with every cell in your being, "Yes. Yes, I am peace. Yes, I am enough. Yes, I am the one who receives with grace. Yes, I live in this feeling not because I'm faking it, but because I choose it." This is the new vibration. This is the emotional code. This is what will ripple through your dreams and echo into your waking life. And as you hold it even just a little longer, it becomes easier to return to. It becomes more familiar. It becomes your baseline. And when your baseline is beauty, peace, abundance, love, your reality cannot help but match it. Because feeling is not just personal. Feeling is magnetic. Feeling is the invitation you send to the field. And what you feel most consistently becomes the dominant frequency you carry day and night, seen and unseen. So feel now, with no agenda, with no need to impress the universe, with no deadline or desperation. Just let yourself be. Be the one who is already there. Be the one who already has. Be the one who no longer needs to perform for the dream, because they are the dream. And from that place, sleep will take you. Not as an escape, but as a bridge between your chosen emotional vibration and the future that already aligns with it. This is the ancient key. This is what the mystics whispered when they said, "Assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled." They weren't talking about pretending. They were talking about transmitting. And you are transmitting now. So let it settle. Let it deepen. Let this feeling become the final note you play before entering the dream, because that note will echo all through the night. And when you rise, the field will begin to shape around it. Not because you asked, but because you felt. Chapter 19. The night is the canvas, painting new realities in silence. Night is not the end of your day. It is not the full stop. It is not the closing chapter or the darkness after the work is done. Night is the canvas. The blank, sacred surface upon which your next reality is painted, stroke by stroke, breath by breath, frequency by frequency. And you, dear soul, are the painter. Not with brushes, not with ink, not with color, but with emotion, with vibration, with thought wrapped in energy, with belief wrapped in certainty, with the silent power of what you feel just before the world disappears and the inner kingdom takes over. This is what most have never been told. Reality does not begin when you wake. It begins when you sleep, because that is when the paint is still wet. That is when your deepest stories are written. That is when the subconscious, your ever-loyal assistant, sits quietly with a pen in its hand and waits for your instructions, the instructions you give, not with words, but with your state of being. So, what story are you painting tonight? Is it the story of a seeker, the one who almost gets there, but never quite? Is it the story of the one who waits for signs, who begs for timing, who watches life unfold from the outside? Or is it the story of the creator, the one who writes it differently, breathes it differently, becomes it fully before it ever arrives? Because one of those stories leads to another cycle, and the other leads to transformation. You are not here to recycle your old patterns. You are here to rewrite them. And night is the most powerful time to do it. Because night holds the stillness where resistance can't speak. Night holds the quiet in which your truth can rise. Night is when the canvas is blank and you, if you are present, can paint something new. So settle now. Let your thoughts soften. Let your breath widen. Let your nervous system drop into the river of deep stillness. You are not here to fix yourself. You are not here to prove your worth. You are here to remember that the dream was never separate. It was simply waiting for the right frequency to carry it into form. And that frequency is your job to create. You create it not by force, but by embodiment. You do not command reality with stress. You command it with certainty. You command it with feeling. You command it with presence, not chaotic, scattered, desperate energy, but soft, aligned, creative energy. So feel now, not what is missing, but what is possible. Feel what it's like to live the life you crave. Not think it. Feel it. Feel the room you sleep in as if you've already become the version of yourself who lives in overflow. Feel the weight of your body on the bed as the one who no longer fears money, time, love, or loss. Feel the breath in your chest as someone who no longer waits because you know the reality you've chosen is on its way to meet you. And this knowing, this embodied certainty, it is your brush. You don't need to control the colors. You don't need to force the image. You simply hold the vibration, and the canvas begins to respond. This is the quiet power of dream alchemy. You don't need a loud ritual. You don't need 20 steps. You don't need a perfect affirmation. You need presence. You need a sacred emotional signature, held clearly, deeply, and gently long enough for the dream to accept it. And when it does, the paint begins to dry. And your subconscious, the architect of your waking life, begins to build the form, not overnight, but from this night, because tonight you painted something new. So say it softly now. I am not repeating the past. I am writing a new future. I am not living from memory. I am living from vision. And I choose, in this quiet space, to create with feeling, not fear. Feel the shift. Feel how your body responds. Notice how your chest lifts slightly, how your face softens, how your breath flows without effort. This is the signal that the painting has begun. You don't have to finish it tonight. You just have to start it with truth, with alignment, with real emotion, not performance, but authenticity. And from that place, the dream receives your instructions. The subconscious receives your command. The quantum field receives your frequency. And soon, the world follows. This is how the painter becomes the oracle. You no longer wonder what tomorrow will bring. You know, because you painted it last night, and you will paint it again tonight. And night after night, you are no longer drifting, you are designing. You are no longer escaping into sleep, you are stepping into sacred creation. And this creation, it starts here, with this breath, with this feeling, with this blank canvas stretched across the silence of your being. So dip your brush now into joy. Dip it into certainty. Dip it into the texture of already having. And let that be your final thought before sleep. Not a hope, not a wish, but a creation. You are not asleep. You are becoming. You are not unconscious. You are alive inside the space where your most beautiful life is already being shaped. And the colors you choose tonight will be the light you wake into tomorrow. Chapter 20, The Dream Architect. Rebuilding your identity while you sleep. Sleep is not a break from life. It is where life begins anew. And every night, whether you are conscious of it or not, you hand over the blueprints of your identity to the architect who shapes your next reality, the subconscious mind. This architect does not build according to your hopes. It builds according to your assumptions. It does not care what you want. It constructs what you expect. And the most powerful truth of all, your identity, the story of who you believe yourself to be, is the foundation of everything you experience. Your income, your relationships, your health, your luck, all of it rises from the identity you hold. So, the question is never just, what do I want to have? The question is, who must I become to have it? Because manifestation does not respond to effort, it responds to identity alignment. When your sense of self aligns with your desire, manifestation becomes effortless. But when you identify as someone who struggles, who waits, who hopes, but never fully believes your desires remain locked behind the door of contradiction. This is the core of dream alchemy. Not just to dream about what you want, but to sleep as the one who already is it. To hand the architect of your subconscious a different blueprint, one that says, I no longer identify with the old story. I no longer embody the pattern of lack. I am not someone hoping to arrive. I am the version of me who is already living the life I choose. This is not fantasy. This is the rewiring of self-concept. And self-concept is everything. You can use all the techniques in the world, but if you fall asleep as the same version of yourself who feels small, stuck, or unsure, you will keep waking up to the same reality. But tonight you change that. Tonight, you stop handing the same script to the architect. Tonight, you write a new identity in feeling, in energy, in vibration, and let that be the code that reprograms everything. Because the truth is, you are not just falling asleep. You are stepping into the sacred chamber of identity recreation. And here's the beauty of it. Your subconscious cannot tell the difference between what is imagined vividly and what is real. So if you feel it deeply, it accepts it completely. This is why sleep is the secret key. Because when the conscious mind lets go, the subconscious becomes programmable. And in that sacred window, identity shifts faster than in any other state. So breathe now. Drop into your body. Let go of the need to understand everything. Let go of the pressure to fix. You are not broken. You are becoming. Ask yourself, if I were already the version of me I dream of, how would I feel in this body? Would I carry tension? Would I rehearse old conversations? Would I shrink, doubt, resist? Or would I rest knowing everything is unfolding in my favor? Feel it now. Not by thinking, but by embodying. Let your body become the new identity's home. Let your cells remember what it's like to know your power. Let your nervous system soften into the vibration of arrival. You are not practicing anymore. You are living it. And this is what your subconscious will record tonight. Not words, not thoughts, not effort. Identity. So say it softly now, like a prayer, like a declaration, like a return. I am no longer the old version of me. I release that story with love. I no longer identify with limitation. I am not here to wait. I am the one who receives. I am the one who creates. I am the one who already is. Let those words soak in. They are not affirmations, they are instructions. And the dream will follow them. Because your subconscious doesn't care how long you've been this way. It only cares what you feel now. So what are you feeling? Not surface emotion, but who are you being? Because when you change the being, the having changes itself. This is the way of the masters. They do not chase goals. They embody realities. They do not try to get things. They become the person to whom those things already belong. And now so do you. You are becoming the dream architect. You are designing from the inside out. You are handing your subconscious a new script, one written not in fear, but in certainty. You are not trying to shift. You have already shifted. You are not waiting to deserve. You are remembering you always were. And as you sleep, the dream will take this frequency and begin the work. The thoughts will reorganize. The beliefs will recalibrate. The old stories will start to fade not by force, but by irrelevance. Because the new identity is here now, alive in your posture, present in your breath, visible in the energy you carry into the field. You are now building a new self. And this self does not need to strive. This self expects the dream to respond, because the subconscious builds from blueprint. And tonight, for the first time in a long time, your blueprint is worthy. Not because you did something to earn it, but because you finally chose to believe in the self that has always been waiting underneath the noise. So sleep now, as the architect, as the designer, as the version of you who no longer fits into yesterday's identity. You've outgrown the shell. You've rewritten the code, and the dream is listening. Chapter 21. The Law of Reversal, Letting Go to Let In. The great paradox of all manifestation is this: what you cling to, you push away. What you try to force into your life resists you. What you obsess over slips through your fingers. And what you let go of, truly, fully, silently flows to you with grace. This is not spiritual poetry. It is a law, a reversal, a secret truth that runs contrary to everything the logical mind has been trained to believe. Your mind says, hold on, work harder, focus more, never stop trying. But the universe responds not to effort, it responds to alignment. And alignment often requires release. It asks you to stop clutching, to stop begging, to stop vibrating at the frequency of needing. Because needing is the frequency of lack. And no amount of affirmations can override the signal your energy is constantly broadcasting. So tonight, we will learn the sacred art of letting go, not as a loss, not as giving up, but as the highest form of trust. Letting go is not about abandoning your desire. It's about releasing the grip you have on the how, the when, the who. It's about creating space in your field so the thing you want can actually arrive. You've been told that if you want something badly enough, you must never stop thinking about it. But in truth, the things that come fastest are the things you're no longer gripping. Think of the moments in your life when a miracle arrived effortlessly, when something just happened, when a solution appeared without planning, when a person or opportunity showed up out of nowhere. You weren't forcing it. You weren't thinking about it every hour. You had released it. And in the space of that surrender, life flowed in. This is the law of reversal. The moment you stop trying to make it happen, you become a match for it happening on its own. Why? Because true magnetism is born in ease, in relaxation, in certainty. The energy that says, I no longer need to control this because I trust that it's already working for me. So breathe now. Let your body soften. Let your grip loosen emotionally, mentally, physically. Release the outcome. Release the obsession. Release the story that says, if I don't do something, it won't come. You are entering a higher law now, one that says, if I surrender completely, it must come. Because surrender is not weakness. It is alignment with the natural rhythm of creation. Letting go is not about being passive. It's about getting out of the way. It's about trusting that your desire has already been heard, already been matched, already been placed into motion, and that your only job now is to create the space for it to arrive. So say it softly, inside yourself. I release the need to control this. I let go of the story that I must do it all. I trust the deeper rhythm of my life. I surrender, and in that surrender, I become magnetic. Feel how different that is from striving. Feel the way your breath deepens when you let go of the chase. This is not you becoming lazy. This is you becoming powerful in a new way. Because there is a place inside you that knows what's meant for me does not require struggle. It flows to me when I stop interfering with it. It reaches me when I open my hands. And tonight, your hands are open. Tonight, your field is open. Tonight, you rest not in the noise of needing, but in the stillness of allowing. And this stillness is the most powerful frequency you can carry into sleep. The mind will resist it. It will want to hold on. It will ask, but if I stop thinking about it, how will it come? And to that, you whisper, it comes precisely because I stopped thinking about it. It comes because I released the vibration of lack. It comes because I no longer need to perform worthiness. It comes because in this moment of letting go, I have become aligned with having. And this is the key to all creation. When you let go of needing it, you step into being it. And what you are cannot help but be mirrored back to you. This is the law that lives beneath the law. This is the hidden current beneath all spiritual teaching. This is the principle that turns struggle into stillness, and stillness into miracles. So tonight, let go, not as punishment, but as worship. Let go like a river surrendering to gravity. Let go like a flower releasing its petals to the breeze. Let go like someone who trusts the unseen more than the seen. And as you do, feel your body become lighter. Feel your field become clearer. Feel your inner space expand. You have made room now. And what is meant for you is already on its way. It's not delayed. It's not lost. It's not behind schedule. It's simply waiting for your surrender. Because your surrender is the signal that says, now I am ready. So fall asleep tonight, not as the one who's still asking, but as the one who finally said, I trust you, take it, deliver it in perfect timing. And in that moment, the universe begins to move. Not because you worked harder, but because you finally aligned with the frequency of release. The law of reversal is not a trick. It is a sacred principle. And now, you live by it. Let that knowing guide you into the silence beyond thought. Let your final breath tonight whisper, I no longer chase, I allow. I no longer fear, I trust. I no longer hold on, I let go and I rise. Chapter 22. Becoming the future before it arrives. You are not just dreaming of a better future. You are the architect of it, the bridge to it, the embodiment of it before it ever appears in form. This is the hidden secret behind every true manifestation. You must become the energy of what you desire before it arrives. Because reality does not respond to waiting. It responds to alignment. The universe is not giving or withholding. It is mirroring. It is always saying yes to whatever you are being in this moment. So when you say, I want abundance, but vibrate at the frequency of fear, worry, or lack, the universe says yes to that frequency. When you say, I want love, but carry doubt, unworthiness, or old grief, the field says yes to that too. It doesn't judge. It doesn't delay. It reflects, which means this: if you want the future to arrive differently, you must become the version of you who already lives there. And that shift begins at night. Because when you sleep, your subconscious no longer argues. It no longer runs logic loops or questions your worth. It listens. It receives. It accepts whatever identity you embody as truth. So if you go to bed each night in the same emotional costume of worry, stress, not enough, fear of the unknown, your subconscious will continue to manifest that version of reality. But if you change that costume, if you lie down in the energy of already having, already being, already knowing, you begin to collapse time. Because time does not separate you from your dreams. Identity does. And tonight, you change that identity. Not by pretending, but by becoming. Ask yourself, softly, gently, like you're speaking to your highest self, what does the future version of me feel like? Not what do they have, not what do they wear, but what is the frequency they carry? Is it calm? Is it magnetic? Is it lighthearted? Certain? Peaceful? Playful? Breathe into that frequency now. Don't try to force it, allow it to emerge from within. It already lives in you. It is not something you must create. It is something you must remember. Because the future version of you is not a stranger. It is your truest self, already existing in the quantum field, waiting for you to come closer. And every night, as you prepare for sleep, you are standing at the doorway of becoming. You can step into that self, or you can repeat the past. But you cannot do both. So choose now. Not with your mind, with your body. How does your breath change when you align with your future? How does your posture shift? How does your heart respond when you decide, I am no longer waiting. I am already her. I am already him. I am already that. Let the old identity fall away like clothing that no longer fits. You do not need to mourn it. You thank it. You bless it. You let it go, because it carried you this far, but it cannot walk through the door you now approach. The future is not later. It is now. It begins in the vibration you sleep in tonight. It begins in the self-concept you embody as your final thought before drifting into dreams. Say it now, quietly. I remember who I truly am. I am not becoming, I already am. I live from the reality I desire. Not in thought, but in vibration. Not in hope, but in embodiment. Let those words soak into the fabric of your being, because your subconscious is listening, and it will accept whatever you give it. Tonight, you are no longer going to bed as someone trying to manifest. You are going to bed as someone who already is. And in that vibration, everything changes. The field begins to shift. The dream begins to rearrange. Reality begins to reflect the new you. This is not magic. It is resonance. The future version of you does not exist far away. They are as close as your next breath, your next choice, your next aligned emotion. And every time you feel what they feel, act as they act, embody their certainty, you are drawing them in. You are closing the gap until there is no gap left at all. Until one morning, without fireworks or effort, you wake up and realize, I am living the life I once only dreamed. And you won't be surprised, because you became it long before it arrived. You lived in its frequency. You slept in its energy. You dreamed from its perspective. And when the future arrived, it felt like coming home. This is the real work. Not forcing outcomes. Not begging the universe. Not waiting for permission. But choosing night after night to let go of the outdated self and rest in the being that already matches what you asked for. So breathe in now. Feel your cells relax. Feel the identity of your future self wrap around you like warmth. You don't have to perform it. You don't have to prove it. You just have to be it. And as you drift, you are no longer hoping for a shift. You are the shift. This is Dream Alchemy in its highest form. You are not waiting for reality to change. You are becoming the vibration that commands it. Chapter 23. The Inner Sanctuary. Building your dream temple within. There is a place within you that no storm can touch. A sacred sanctuary untouched by time, untouched by fear, untouched by the external noise of the world. Most never find this place, not because it is hidden, but because they are always looking outward. They look to their schedules, their circumstances, their manifestations, their relationships. They look for signs. They look for evidence. But the true power, the true dream alchemy, is not found in the outer world. It is found in the temple within. And tonight, we return there. This inner sanctuary is not a metaphor. It is real. It is as real as the walls around you. It is a chamber of stillness, of clarity, of alignment. And within it, you are not just a person falling asleep, you are a being of light communing with your source. Here, you do not ask for things. Here, you remember who you are. Here, the veil falls away and your soul rises to speak with the divine. Most people fall asleep carrying the residue of the day, the frustrations, the unspoken thoughts, the fears they could not soothe. But you are no longer most people. You are awake to the truth of who you are. And so your sleep is no longer random. It is ritual. It is sacred ceremony. It is divine conversation between your conscious self and the infinite intelligence within you. You do not enter sleep tonight to escape. You enter sleep to reconnect. You are returning home to the place where dreams are not wishes, but rememberings of what is already possible. So let the body soften. Let the breath slow. Let the mind take a seat outside the temple doors. You are stepping now into your inner sanctuary. And in this space, there are no distractions. There is only stillness. You stand at the center of your being, surrounded, not by walls, but by peace. The world cannot reach you here. The noise of the outer world becomes silence. The demands of others fall away. The urgency dissolves. Here, all that remains is presence. And within this presence, creation begins. Because the subconscious, the dream, the field, they do not require chaos. They require coherence. And coherence begins in stillness. So pause now. Feel your center. Feel the subtle hum of your own energy. Not the mind, not the voice that narrates, but the vibration that has always been there. That quiet, pulsing truth beneath the thoughts. This is your sanctuary. This is where your future begins. Not in strategy, not in effort, but here in this silent agreement between your soul and the universe that says, I no longer chase what is mine. I remember it. I anchor into it. I align with it. I embody it in this space before sleep. The sanctuary is where you come to recalibrate, to return to the version of you that doesn't need to prove, convince, or control. This version already is. This version already has. This version simply waits for you to choose it. So choose now, not with words, but with stillness. Stillness is the ultimate declaration of trust. When you are still, you are saying, I am not afraid of the moment. I am not afraid of what happens next. I am here and I am enough, and I trust in the unfolding. And from this inner temple, all things are born. Dreams do not arise from the clutter of the mind. They arise from the silence of the soul. That is why this space is sacred. That is why this nightly ritual matters. You are not just resting your body. You are rebuilding your entire energetic field, thought by thought, feeling by feeling, breath by breath. And when you sleep from this place, you do not manifest from need. You manifest from truth, the truth that says, I am already whole. I am already aligned. I am already the one I've been waiting to become. You carry this truth into your dream, and the dream carries it into the field. And the field, obedient and perfect, responds, not because you begged, but because you were coherent, because your energy matched the future you called in. And this coherence, it is built right here, in the sanctuary of your inner self. So as you fall deeper into rest, let your final thoughts be ones of reverence. Let your breath be your prayer. Let your stillness be your request. And say softly, "Tonight, I remember who I am. I am not limited by the past. I am not defined by what has not yet arrived. I am the dreamer and the dream, the creator and the canvas. I rest now, not in longing, but in arrival." This is how you sleep inside the dream. This is how your inner temple becomes the place where miracles are born. Not through force, not through fear, but through sacred stillness. This is Dream Alchemy. This is inner mastery, and you are now its vessel. Chapter 24, Memory of the Future. How your dreams collapse time. There is a wisdom deeper than thought, a knowing beyond reason, a remembrance that has nothing to do with the past and everything to do with the future. It is the sense you felt before, in the quiet hours, that you are here for something more, not in fantasy, but in design. This isn't wishful thinking. It is future memory. It is the echo of a reality that already exists in the quantum field, calling you home to what has always been yours. Most people believe the future is something that hasn't happened yet, something they must chase, earn, wait for. But those who understand the laws of dream alchemy know a deeper truth. The future is not ahead of you. It is already here, waiting for you to remember it. And memory is the key. Not memory of what you've lived, but memory of what you're destined for. Because in the quantum realm, all possibilities exist now. Not tomorrow, not 10 years from now. Now, there is a version of you that is already living your ideal life. Already abundant, already loved, already at peace, already radiant, free, overflowing with the exact experience you long for. And that version of you does not need to be created. It only needs to be accessed. You do not build the future from scratch. You attune to the frequency of the future you choose to remember, and as you do, you begin to collapse time. You collapse the space between your current identity and your highest timeline. You make the improbable inevitable, and the impossible familiar. This is not spiritual fantasy. This is quantum reality. And the doorway to it opens each night just before sleep, because the subconscious mind, in its sacred softness, does not require proof. It requires instruction. It requires imagined memory. Memory so vivid, so emotionally rich, that it cannot distinguish between what happened in the past and what you are choosing to feel now. And here is the secret. The subconscious mind does not organize reality by chronological time. It organizes it by vibration. What you feel repeatedly, it considers truth. What you imagine with full emotional weight, it accepts as memory. This is why trauma lives in the body long after the event ends, and why imagined joy, when practiced deliberately, becomes real joy in your waking life. Because memory is emotional energy, and energy is the architect of all form. So tonight, we return not to the past, but to the future memory of your highest self, the version of you that already lives in alignment. The version of you who is not waiting, not chasing, not doubting, but being. The one who moves through life with grace. The one who sleeps peacefully, not because everything is perfect, but because they are in perfect alignment with what's already unfolding. Close your eyes now. Let the day fall away. Let the noise dim. Let the past dissolve like a mist lifting from the ocean. And let yourself remember, not where you've been, but who you are becoming. Feel it in your body, the home you walk through, the presence you carry, the wealth you embody, not just financial, but emotional, spiritual, creative, Feel the relationships deep, real, nourishing. Feel the version of you who walks without fear, who speaks from knowing, who acts from a place of complete embodiment. You've seen glimpses of this version before in dreams, in flashes, in brief encounters with the extraordinary. But tonight, you do not glimpse. You inhabit. This version of you is not in the distance. They are here, now, breathing through your chest, moving through your bones, alive in your vibration. And when you hold that memory not as a fantasy, but as a reality, your stepping into the subconscious begins to reorganize. The energy begins to rearrange. And time, the illusion you once obeyed, begins to bend around your new frequency. You are not manifesting, you are remembering. And that remembrance becomes instruction. That instruction becomes identity. That identity becomes experience. Say it softly. I remember the life I came here to live. I remember the abundance that is already mine. I remember the version of me who no longer waits. And I return to them now. Let the emotion rise not as effort, but as embodiment. Let the body feel the texture of that memory, the softness, the stability, the radiance. Let the energy of it seep into every cell. This is not pretend. This is pre-creation. And the field is listening. It is receiving your instruction not in words, but in frequency. And that frequency is calling your future self forward, faster, closer, now. Time is collapsing. The distance between what you desire and what you experience is shrinking. And you are no longer chasing your future. You are waking up inside it. This is the heart of Dream Alchemy. You do not use your imagination to escape reality. You use it to rewrite it, to remember what was always waiting, to step into the timeline that was always yours the moment you believed it enough to feel it. So sleep now, not as the one who hopes, but as the one who remembers. And in the dream, that memory will grow stronger. And when you rise, it will echo in every choice. And soon, the world will reflect it not because you forced it, but because you finally became the vibration of a future you already owned. Chapter 25. The Final Thought. Why your last feeling before sleep becomes your reality. There is a moment, just before you drift into unconsciousness, where the veil between you and creation is at its thinnest. It is the final breath, the last whisper, the flicker of awareness before the body lets go and the soul begins its nightly journey through the unseen realms. And in this fleeting space, this last sacred pause, you hand the universe your most potent instruction, not with words, not with affirmations, but with feeling. Because in the language of the subconscious, in the architecture of manifestation, it is not the complexity of your thoughts that shape reality. It is the final feeling you carry as you dissolve into sleep. That feeling is the signature your field transmits through the night. That feeling is the ink with which the subconscious writes the dream. That feeling is what the quantum fabric mirrors back to you as form. And yet, most people fall asleep unaware. They carry with them the fragments of the day, the worries, the regrets, the to-do lists. They enter sleep in survival mode, not knowing that their last emotion becomes the template for tomorrow. But you are no longer most people. You are awake now, even in your dreaming. And tonight, you remember. The final thought is not just a thought. It is a command. It is a vibration you anchor so deeply into your being that your subconscious accepts it as truth and begins building a world to match it. You are not entering sleep as a passive receiver of reality. You are stepping into the night as a creator, as a weaver of worlds, as a conscious sculptor of identity, energy, and experience. And so, the last feeling you choose before sleep becomes the first experience that greets you in waking life. This is the secret the sages knew. This is the tool the mystics mastered. This is why dream alchemy is not ritual, it is remembering. So pause now. Let your breath slow. Let your body soften. And ask yourself, what vibration do I want to echo through my subconscious while I sleep? Not what do I want to fix? Not what am I worried about? Not what do I hope goes right tomorrow? But what feeling, if it stayed with me for the next 8 hours, would transform my entire life? Is it safety? Is it joy? Is it knowing you are enough, right now, without needing to do anything more? Is it the quiet power of certainty, the kind that whispers, I no longer chase, I receive? Feel it. Let it rise not from your mind, but from your center. Let it pour into your belly, your chest, your throat. Let it radiate. This is your imprint now, your final energetic message before the dream takes over. And in the realm of dreams, this message becomes law. The subconscious does not analyze. It accepts. It takes the strongest frequency, the one held most clearly and most consistently, and it runs with it. And it does not forget. It repeats. This is why your mornings often feel like déjà vu, because your nights were left unguarded. But not anymore. From this moment on, you understand the power of your final thought. And you treat it as sacred, because it is not just the end of your day, it is the beginning of your next life. So craft this feeling carefully, but don't force it. Breathe it. Be it. Say softly, inside, this is who I am now. I am no longer the one who waits. I am no longer the one who hopes. I am the one who holds the vibration of having. And I sleep now in the energy of the answer. Feel the difference. You are not pleading. You are radiating. You are not trying to manifest from desperation. You are aligning with inevitability. Because you now understand, the most magnetic thing you can ever become is someone who already has. And you become that person not through effort, but through frequency, held, sustained, and offered as your final act before the night claims you. This frequency becomes your bridge. It carries your desire across dimensions into dream, into subconscious, into the field that waits for instruction. And that field, as always, reflects it. You are not dreaming randomly tonight. You are dreaming intentionally. And the dream will carry you not into chaos or confusion, but into remembrance of what has always been yours. So be mindful now. Let go of anything you don't want to see again. The doubt? Release it. The worry? Breathe it out. The self-questioning? Let it melt like wax beneath the flame of awareness. And replace it with something truer, something quieter, stronger, more beautiful than the noise you've known before. Replace it with the frequency of completion, the truth that says, I am already aligned, my dream is already forming, and I now rest in the arms of its arrival. Let this be your final thought. Let this be the feeling that shapes the dream. Let this be the vibration that builds your next reality. Because the universe, it does not follow your schedule. It follows your state. And your state, when held in sleep, becomes a blueprint too powerful to be denied. So fall into that now. No longer hoping, no longer striving, just being. And in that being, receive. Chapter 26. The Gateway of Trust, Surrendering to the Intelligence of the Night. There comes a point on every spiritual path where the doing must stop. The methods, the rituals, the visualizations, even the affirmations, they must all yield to something greater, something deeper, something far more powerful than the conscious mind could ever control. That something is trust. Trust is the silent agreement between your soul and the universe. It is the unspoken contract that says, I may not see it yet, but I know it's coming. I may not have all the evidence, but I feel it in my bones. I no longer need to chase, because I am aligned with the rhythm that delivers. And trust is not an idea. It is a frequency, a field of energy you must step into, especially before sleep. Because sleep is not just a surrender of the body, it is the surrender of control. And in that surrender, manifestation accelerates. You cannot force a dream to arrive on your timeline. You cannot push the universe into obedience. You cannot outwit the divine intelligence that governs all things. But you can trust it. And in that trust, you become magnetic. Because the universe does not respond to desperate energy. It responds to alignment. It responds to resonance. It responds to the deep, unwavering certainty that says, I am no longer in doubt. I am no longer in fear. I surrender this into your hands, and I know that it is already done. This is what the mystics meant when they spoke of surrender. Not giving up your desires, but letting go of the grip you've had around their outcome. Because grip creates resistance, and resistance blocks flow. But trust opens the gate. So tonight, you are not just falling asleep. You are entering the gateway of trust. And in this gateway, everything that once felt delayed begins to move. Not because you finally figured it out, but because you finally let it go. Trust is not passive. It is the most active form of energetic alignment. Because to trust is to vibrate at the level of already received. To trust is to sleep inside the knowing that the plan is perfect, that the timeline is divine, that what is meant for you cannot pass you, even if it seems late, even if it seems lost, even if you've waited for what feels like lifetimes. Tonight, you surrender your doubts at the door. You hand over the weight of wondering. You let the soft rhythm of trust carry you into the arms of your higher self. Because your higher self is never in a rush. She does not panic. He does not fear. They do not cling. They know the timing. They live inside the certainty that what is yours is already yours. And now, you do too. So breathe. Let the muscles in your shoulders release. Let your jaw loosen. Let your heart rate slow. Let your mind stop analyzing every what if and why not yet. You are not the manager of the universe. You are the receiver of its perfection. And your job is to align with the feeling of already done. Because in the quantum field, nothing is created, only selected. You are selecting a timeline through the vibration you choose to hold. And tonight, that vibration is trust. Unshakable, unquestionable, unstoppable. Let this trust speak louder than your doubts. Let it wrap around you like a blanket, soft but impenetrable. Say it quietly within. I no longer need to know how. I no longer need to know when. I trust the unfolding. I trust my desire. I trust the source within me. I trust the dream that called me because it called me for a reason. And I surrender now, not to weakness, but to truth. Feel the shift in your body. This is not giving up. This is giving over. Giving over your control to something higher. Giving over your timeline to something wiser. Giving over your old energy of force for the new energy of flow. This is how the universe operates. Not in pressure, but in precision. And when you trust, you become a match for that precision. When you trust, you signal the field that you are ready. Not just ready to receive, but ready to receive in peace. Because some people receive, but they are still in fear. They get the manifestation, but they cannot hold it. Why? Because they never learned how to trust. but you are learning now. You are not here to manifest a single thing and then spiral. You are here to embody a life of continuous creation. A life where trust is not something you visit once in a while, but where trust is the ground you stand on and the bed you sleep in. So tonight, let this trust anchor you. Let it rock you gently into the space between worlds. Let it tell your subconscious, it is safe to release. It is safe to let go. It is safe to rest because the work is done. And in that rest, reality reorganizes. Not because you demanded, but because you aligned. This is the gateway of trust. You do not need to push it open. It opens the moment you stop pushing. So drift now. Let the weight of your needing dissolve. Let the frequency of ease expand within you. Let this be the night where trust becomes your default setting. Let this be the chapter where you no longer beg for miracles, but become the kind of being they gravitate toward. Because trust is the signal that says, I remember how powerful I am, and I don't need proof to believe it anymore. Sleep now, not as the one who's still waiting, but as the one who has already received. And tomorrow, let the world rise to meet this new vibration, because it will. It must. It always does. Chapter 27, Becoming a Vessel, How to Receive Without Resistance. There is a difference between desiring and receiving. Wanting opens the door. But being able to hold what you've called in, that is the true art. That is where most seekers falter. Not because they are unworthy, not because they are broken, but because they have not yet become a vessel. A space where manifestation is not just summoned, but welcomed, not just imagined, but sustained. To desire is natural. It is the pulse of the soul expanding itself. To receive, however, that is sacred. And receiving has nothing to do with chance. It has everything to do with capacity. Tonight, you are not just dreaming of what you want. You are becoming the kind of being who can hold it. Without resistance, without fear, without sabotaging what arrives. Because abundance will not stay where self-worth is absent. Love will not root itself in a garden of insecurity. Opportunities will not flourish where the nervous system cannot handle ease. And so we become the vessel, not by force, but by expansion. By softening the walls we built around our own hearts, by clearing the clutter of doubt, by releasing the noise of, am I ready? And instead, choosing to be ready now. You see, the subconscious does not operate on logic. It operates on truth, as defined by repetition and feeling. So the question is not, am I worthy? The question is, have I practiced being a space where worthiness feels normal? If you want to be wealthy, you must be a vessel for wealth, not just in your thoughts, but in your energy. If you want love, you must become a vessel where love is not feared or chased, but received with grace and ease. This is not performance. This is permission. And permission is given by one person only, you. So tonight, as the body begins to soften and the conscious mind begins to dissolve, you are stepping into a higher practice, not of asking, but of allowing. You are creating space inside you where the manifestation you seek can actually land. Not bounce off your disbelief, not trigger your past stories, but rest because you have become the space it belongs to. And this space, this vessel, is shaped not by effort but by vibration. So breathe. Feel your body now not as a structure of flesh and bone but as a field, a container, a sacred cup being ready to be filled. And let go of the noise that says you must earn your desires. Let go of the idea that you have to work harder to be ready. That is not truth. The truth is, the more you relax into your worth, the more space you create for receiving. The more you stop trying to fix, prove, or perform, the more you open your energetic hands. And what you can hold, the universe can give. So say it softly now. I am becoming the vessel. I am creating space within me for the life I desire. I no longer resist it. I no longer fear it. I expand with ease into the self that can hold all I've asked for. Let the words land. Let them vibrate through your chest, your heart, your stomach. Notice if anything tenses. Breathe there. Because that tension, that contraction, it is not proof that you're not ready. It is simply a doorway asking to be opened. Meet it with kindness. Let your exhale carry out the fear. Let your next breath carry in the expansion. You are not broken. You are becoming bigger, not in ego and capacity. You are enlarging your field to match the life you've been dreaming of. And this dream, it cannot enter a closed container. It needs room, room to bloom, room to grow, room to be fully received, not questioned at the door. So tonight, we create that room. We make space by releasing every old version of self that was built from survival. We let go of the one who settled. We shed the skin of the one who doubted. We dissolve the story of the one who believed they were not allowed to have it all. And in its place, we build the new vessel. Not out of force, not out of rigidity, but out of softness, out of spaciousness. This is the paradox of power. The softer you become, the more you can receive. Because resistance is hardness. It is clenched fists. It is a body in armor. It is a mind trying to control. But receptivity, it is openness. It is breath. It is trust. It is becoming the cup the divine can pour into. And that is who you are now. You are no longer begging. You are receiving. Not just in your words, but in your way of being. Feel that now. Breathe into the space around your heart. Say, I am safe to receive. I am worthy of what I desire. I am a clear, open, grounded vessel, and all that aligns with me is flowing in now. Let that be your final vibration before sleep. Not more effort. Not more doing. Just this quiet, powerful openness. And in that openness, life rushes in. The dream aligns. The field responds. Because you are no longer pushing it away with doubt or fear. You are ready. Not perfectly, but presently. And that presence is all that's ever been required. So sleep now in the posture of receptivity. Let your body become the prayer. Let your stillness become the invitation. And let the dream finally come home. Chapter 28, The Reality Loop. Reprogramming the patterns that create your world. Every night, as your head meets the pillow, something extraordinary happens. A loop begins, a cycle, a rhythm of energy that hums quietly beneath your thoughts. This loop is not new. It has been playing for years, maybe decades. It is the pattern of identity, the script of self-perception, the blueprint your subconscious uses to construct your waking life. And unless you become aware of it, you will live the same day over and over, simply with different scenery. Most people don't realize it. They think change comes from action. They hustle harder. They try new techniques. They rearrange the furniture of their lives, thinking they're moving forward. But nothing truly changes because the loop stays the same. The pattern is still playing in the background, silently dictating what shows up tomorrow. But you are not here to repeat. You are here to reprogram. And it begins, not with effort, but with awareness. The reality loop begins in the subconscious. It starts with a belief often unspoken, often inherited about who you are and what's possible for you. I'm not enough. Things are always hard. I have to struggle to succeed. No one really sees me. Good things don't last. Money flows out faster than it flows in. These are not just passing thoughts. They are codes, and the subconscious runs those codes like software. It doesn't ask if they're true, only if they're familiar. This is the great key. Your subconscious doesn't want what's best for you. It wants what's familiar. Familiar feels safe, even if it's painful, even if it keeps you stuck. And so it recreates day after day the life that matches those invisible beliefs. It creates your reality loop. But tonight, you become the disruptor. Not through war, not through struggle, but through awakened awareness. You are going to enter the dream not as a passive receiver, but as a conscious reprogrammer. You are going to interrupt the old loop with something stronger, a new pattern, born not of fear, but of vision. A pattern aligned with the version of you who is already free, already abundant, already whole, already living in the timeline where joy is normal, not rare. So breathe now, not just to calm the mind, but to clear the channel. Let the breath cleanse the stagnant energies of repetition. Let the exhale sweep out the beliefs you've outgrown. And as you begin to drop deeper into the body, into the field, into the edge of sleep, ask yourself, what story am I still telling about who I am? Is it the story of the struggler? The one who almost arrives, but not quite? The one who's always waiting for permission? Or is it the story of the one who creates? The one who doesn't chase transformation but lives it? The one who doesn't ask if it's possible but chooses it? Because every loop is held in place by identity. Change the identity, and the loop dissolves. This is why visualization alone is not enough. Why mantras without embodiment don't work. Because unless the internal self-concept shifts, the outer world cannot follow. But the good news, the sacred truth is this. Your self-concept is not fixed. It is not cement. It is clay. And you mold it every single night by the way you feel, think, speak, and most importantly, by how you sleep. You see, sleep is the gateway to the subconscious. And whatever you feel most strongly before sleep, not just think, but feel, becomes the new program. So tonight, as you enter this space between waking and dreaming, do not carry yesterday's version of yourself into tomorrow's life. Set it down now. With love, with gratitude. Say to it, thank you for keeping me safe. Thank you for doing what you knew. But I am no longer this. I no longer identify with limitation. I no longer align with struggle. I choose a new loop now, one built on joy, freedom, ease, and trust. Feel the difference. You are not just talking. You are instructing the subconscious. You are handing it a new script. And because the subconscious is always listening, always accepting your strongest vibration, it begins to run the new code. It doesn't need proof. It doesn't need time. It just needs consistency. So bring that new loop into your breath now. Feel the you who moves through the world with grace. The you who wakes up to synchronicity, to opportunity, to love. Not as a rare blessing, but as your new normal. This version of you is already encoded in the field. You don't have to build her. You don't have to force him. You just have to merge with their frequency. And that frequency lives in your breath, your posture, your tone, your feeling state. You can shift into it now. No delay, no resistance, just presence. Say it inside. This is the loop I live in now. Ease, trust, overflow, peace, expansion, receiving, alignment, joy. Let those words vibrate in your chest. Let them become the new energetic rhythm you carry into sleep. Because as you sleep, your subconscious will begin to normalize that loop. It will start scanning your environment not for old patterns, but for matches to the new one. It will begin rearranging your reality to reflect this upgraded self-concept. And soon, the loop that once kept you trapped will become the rhythm that sets you free. But the shift doesn't begin in action. It begins in permission. And you have just given it. So rest now, as the one who no longer fears the loop, because you've stepped outside of it. You are no longer its prisoner, you are its rewriter. And with every breath, every sleep, every dream, the new loop grows stronger. Until one day you wake up and realize the old life no longer fits, because you've outgrown the loop and built something greater in its place. Chapter 29. The Dream Mirror. How the night reflects your deepest truth. You may think dreams are just stories, random images stitched together by memory and emotion, but dreams are not chaos. They are reflections. They are sacred mirrors, held up by your subconscious to reveal what you truly believe, what you truly expect, and what you are silently broadcasting into the world even when your waking self denies it. Most people see their dreams as entertainment, or they dismiss them altogether. But dreams are messages. Dreams are portals. Dreams are the mirror the universe holds up each night, whispering, "This is who you are when you're not pretending." Tonight, we step into that mirror with eyes wide open. We do not run from the dream. We walk toward it, not to analyze but to align, not to decode but to recode. Because what you dream, you believe. And what you believe, you create. Not always with your conscious words, but with your energetic truth. And energy, as you've learned, never lies. So now, we begin with a question, one that reshapes the dream mirror from the inside. What do I want to become so familiar with that even my subconscious dreams it with ease? Do you want abundance to feel ordinary? Do you want love to be so natural that even in your sleep you expect to be cherished? Do you want your ideal life to feel like home, so that your dreams stop showing you lack, struggle, and separation, and begin showing you your highest timeline, not as a fantasy, but as your default? Then you must plant the seed before sleep. You must give the mirror something new to reflect. You must offer your subconscious a different emotional blueprint, one that feels so real, so true, so embodied, that it becomes the foundation of your dream world. Because the dream world is not fiction, it is practice. And practice becomes programming. And programming becomes pattern. And pattern becomes reality. So tonight, you are not just drifting off. You are entering the sacred mirror. And you are bringing with you a new vibration, not just of what you want, but of who you are now becoming. So breathe. Let the body melt. Let the walls fall. Let the mask of the waking self dissolve. You don't need it here. In the dream mirror, nothing can be hidden, but nothing needs to be. Here, you are safe to be seen, fully. And in that seeing, you begin to transform. Imagine now your reflection in the dream mirror, but not the reflection of your past, not the self shaped by fear, by failure, by falsehood. See instead the version of you that already lives the life you long for. The version who walks through the world with clarity, with poise, with light in their eyes and certainty in their step. This is not a fantasy. This is your true self. The self that has always been buried beneath layers of programming, of shame, of inherited limits. But tonight, the mirror reveals the truth. You are not broken. You are not behind. You are simply awakening to the self that was always waiting. And as you fall into sleep, the mirror grows clearer. And in that clarity, your subconscious listens, not to the chaos of thought, but to the tone of your energy, to the frequency of your expectation. and it asks, "Is this the version of you we are reinforcing tonight?" You answer not with words. You answer with feeling. So feel now the presence of the version of you who already holds what you've asked for. Not in imagination, in embodiment. Where are they standing? What are they wearing? How do they speak? How do they breathe? What do they expect without even asking? This is the self the dream mirror will begin reflecting back to you if you hold the feeling long enough to make it your own. So hold it. Let it settle into your bones. Let it imprint itself into your heart like a song you never want to forget. Say quietly, with your whole being, "This is who I am now. This is what I dream now. This is what I remember when I close my eyes." Not fear, not failure, not lack, but freedom, but fulfillment, but the life I came here to live already unfolding, already mine. Feel how the energy changes when you dream from this place. Your dreams are no longer echoes of doubt. They are previews. They are blueprints. They are glimpses into the timeline you are aligning with. This is the power of the dream mirror. It shows you what you believe and gives you the chance to choose again. So choose. Not tomorrow. Now. Before your breath fades into sleep. Before your mind loosens its grip. Before you slip beneath the waves of consciousness. Choose the version of you who no longer dreams of becoming. Because they already are. And in the mirror of dreams, that version will be seen. And what is seen can be lived. Chapter 30. The night you become. No more becoming, only being. There comes a moment quiet and almost unnoticeable when the shift completes. It does not arrive with fireworks. It does not announce itself with fanfare. It arrives in stillness, in breath, in a peace so deep that it feels like returning to something ancient, something familiar, something true, and in that moment you realize you are no longer becoming, you have already become. All the striving, all the rituals, all the nights of asking and releasing, visualizing and surrendering, they weren't building something outside of you, they were sculpting you from within. You weren't calling your dream closer. You were dissolving everything that kept you from seeing that it was already here. This is the final alchemy. It is not about manifestation anymore. It is about embodiment. Because when you embody the version of yourself who no longer needs, who no longer waits, who no longer doubts, you become magnetic not because you are attracting, but because you are radiating. The journey you've been on, the one of reprogramming your subconscious, aligning your energy, collapsing timelines, dissolving resistance, remembering your true self, it has brought you here, to this moment, to this night. And this night is different. This night, you stop looking for signs. You stop checking for confirmation. You stop measuring how close the dream is, because you realize you are the dream. You are not reaching for something outside of yourself. You are awakening to the truth that the field is within you. And all this time, the universe was not holding anything back. It was simply waiting for you to recognize what it always saw. You, whole, radiant, ready. This is the night you drop the last mask, not out of exhaustion, but out of grace. You release the identity of the one who's always trying. You let go of the version of you who always needed one more technique, one more sign, one more moment of courage. You bless those parts. You thank them for their service. You kiss them gently, like petals falling from a flower whose bloom is now complete. And then you return, not to your past, but to your truth. You have always been the vessel. You have always been the portal. You have always been the magnetic field through which infinite possibilities flow. So tonight, you don't just sleep, you rest. And there is a sacred difference between the two. Sleep can be escape. Sleep can be unconsciousness. But rest? Rest is holy. Rest is the vibration of it is done. Rest is what happens when you finally stop trying to arrive, because you realize you already have. And the one who rests in this knowing becomes untouchable, unshakable, unstoppable. So breathe, beloved. Let your body soften into this becoming. Let your soul sigh in the space of being fully received by the self, by the field, by the dream. You don't have to rehearse anything anymore. You don't have to act as if, because you are no longer playing the role of your future self. You are your future self now, and everything around you will begin to change, not because you are chasing change, but because your frequency no longer supports the old reality. The people who once reflected your doubt will fall away. The patterns that once mirrored your fear will dissolve. The obstacles that once made you question your power will vanish not by force, but by incompatibility. They simply cannot exist in the presence of this new you. The dream doesn't feel far anymore, does it? It feels close, intimate, inevitable. Because when you become the vibration of already having, the dream becomes the only possible outcome. So tonight, let your final thought be not a request, but a reminder. Say softly, I remember now. I am no longer waiting. I am no longer hoping. I am no longer becoming. I am. I am. I am. Let those words echo through your cells. Let them anchor into your nervous system. Let them ripple through the field, because you are no longer asleep to who you are. You are not here to wish for miracles. You are here to be one. And this night, this sacred night, is not the end of the journey. It is the moment you realize there was no journey, only layers falling away, only illusions dissolving, only truth shining quietly beneath it all. So rest now, as the one who no longer needs proof, as the one who no longer wavers, as the one who dreams not to escape, but to command. You are the dreamer. You are the dream. And this is the night you become the light that no longer waits for dawn, because it is always shining from within. Conclusion: the infinite ritual. This was never just about a dream. This was never just about manifesting something. It was never about chasing a singular desire, a house, a person, a number in your bank account. That was only the doorway, the beginning, the sacred bait that led you inward. What this was truly about was remembering who you are when the masks fall away, who you become when the noise goes quiet, what awakens within you when you stop looking outside of yourself for the answer. This was a journey into stillness, into knowing, into alignment with the self so ancient, so infinite, so effortlessly magnetic, that the moment you rest inside it, everything you once chased begins to chase you. You came here asking, how do I manifest? But the question has shifted now, hasn't it? You no longer ask how, because the one who asks how has already forgotten what you now remember. That the universe does not need your effort, it needs your resonance. That your subconscious does not obey your words, it obeys your vibration. That your dreams are not passive hallucinations, they are the rehearsal of realities. And you are not the seeker anymore. You are the source. You have become what you were looking for. Because the truth is this: what you seek is always seeking you, not because it wants to test you, not because you need to prove your worth, but because it is a natural response to your state of being. When you become the one who already holds it, the universe must reflect that. Not by magic, by law. You have now walked through 30 sacred chambers of sleep, 30 invocations, 30 initiations, 30 keys. Each night, you entered the temple of your subconscious, not just to rest, but to reprogram. not just to relax but to rise. You have learned the sacred art of becoming before receiving, of embodying before evidence, of commanding not with words but with vibration. And now that you know this, you can never go back. Not to the old paradigm, not to the striving, not to the struggle, not to the belief that you must earn what your soul already is. You are no longer the student. You are no longer in rehearsal. You are in expression now. And expression is the highest form of alignment. So from this moment forward, your sleep is no longer unconscious. It is ritual. It is ceremony. It is co-creation with the divine. Every night you close your eyes, you step into the field of infinite intelligence and you speak with it, not through noise, but through feeling. You tell it, here is who I am now. Here is what I am choosing. Here is the frequency I am anchoring. And the field listens. Not sometimes, not when it feels like it, always. Because the field is you, and you now remember that. You have learned to soften into trust because the path is no longer unclear. You are not guessing anymore. You are flowing, and your flow is magnetic. This is the embodiment of dream alchemy. This is the mastery of the in-between. You have become the architect of your subconscious, the sculptor of your sleep, the programmer of your future. And more than that, you have become the vibration of your highest timeline, not because you forced it, but because you finally stopped resisting it. You dropped the doubt. You laid down the need for constant proof. And in doing so, you made room. And that room is now being filled by peace, by joy, by manifestations that once felt impossible, because nothing is withheld from the one who finally believes they deserve it. And you are that one now. So what happens next? You continue, not as someone trying to get there, but as someone who knows they already are. You continue sleeping like a creator, dreaming like a mystic, living like the miracle has already occurred. You let the results come as they must, but you no longer wait for them to feel good. Because feeling good is the cause, not the reward. You've rewritten the loop. You've dissolved the resistance. You've stepped beyond wishing into knowing. And from this knowing, you walk differently. You speak differently. You choose differently. You say yes to things that match your new identity, and no to things that pull you backward into old vibrations. You hold boundaries not out of fear, but out of frequency. You trust divine timing, not because you're being patient, but because you're tuned in. You stop needing reassurance, because your certainty lives inside your own chest. And most importantly, you live each day as someone who doesn't need the dream to arrive to be at peace. Because your peace is no longer conditional. It is vibrational. And this vibration, this signature of who you now are, becomes your invitation to everything you once sought. So let this book, this journey, this nightly ritual remain with you. Not as a technique, as a way of being, a remembrance, a realignment. Each time you close your eyes, say, I return now to the truth of who I am. I am the dreamer and the dream. I am the subconscious and the seed. I am the field and the form. And I manifest not because I ask, but because I embody. And let the night carry that frequency forward. Let the sleep become the transmission. Let the dream do the rest. Because it will. It already has. And now, you rest. Not as someone hoping, but as someone home. Thank you for walking this sacred journey with me. May your dreams now become the blueprint of your reality. If this spoke to your soul, like, comment, and share this with someone who's ready to remember their power and don't forget to subscribe for more alchemical journeys.